Yeah. Hey.
Check 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Let's go. Untamed. Wake up.
First guy Omaha in the morning.
Yeah. Wake up.
In the morning. Yo.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Check 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
You good? Can we hear you?
Morning. Yeah. I
Wake up, wake
didn't
up.
realize I was muted for some reason. I don't
Wake
know
up, wake
what's
up,
going
wake up,
on.
wake up.
Stream, what's going on?
Got from this dream. Life is not what it seems. This culture's not your reality. You better unplug or be a casualty. Cause the life that we lose in the drug and improving is keeping us off from our greatness.
Hey.
Love and stop hating. Feel real front pages. From murder to death to building our wealth. We moving in stealth. Milking the game till there's nothing left. And teaching my people.
Yo.
I'm crashing on competition. That's an interference with the mission, man. We so we standing up. Unification amongst us. Wake up, 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 wake up.
What kind of bounce popping?
Shout out to Sherman Wells telling us to wake up.
Big Sharp, fool.
Yeah, it is, man. Wednesday of the 23rd of October. Good morning. Man. Oh, it always wakes you up, don't he? Shout out to Sherman Wells, man. Yeah, appreciate you. Yep. Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. Another edition. You all right over there?
Don't pay me no mind. I haven't.
Okay. All right. Well, good morning, all. Welcome to First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B and Buddy the Guy. Don't mind him.
Yeah, don't mind me. Just got some raggedy glasses. That's all.
Oh, the
opticals. Yeah. Lost my lens. Gotta see.
Man. Yeah.
Hey.
Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. Again, it's Wednesday, the 23rd of October. We start the hard news at 7 o'clock. So I thought we'd come in early again for the hellos and how you doing. I see Judy Prinsler in the house. Wonderful Wednesday, she says. All right. Good morning, Ms. Prinsler. How are things with you? How's things going on? Let us know. Let us know how your week is going. And this kind of crazy. We're in a really crazy moment for sure,
man, to say the least.
John Stewart was talking about it last night about how surreal this moment. Are we did we all die in COVID?
Twilight Zone.
Weird purgatory going on with Donald Trump and serving fries and all kinds of mess.
Oh man.
Hot mess. Heather Williams gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming in this morning. And do us a favor, share the show. Definitely lots to talk about today. Got a couple special guests coming in today.
Yeah, Women's Wednesday.
It is Women's Wednesday again. Yeah, I can't wait to hear from Kimara. We haven't talked to her in a while. Kimara Snipes will be here.
Women.
Jaquilla Yarbrough's coming back.
Yeah,
the write-in candidate for Douglas County Commissioner. So, kind of reminds you to write her in.
Man, I'm kind of curious about that because again, we did learn how her specifically campaign was impacted by the whole, formerly incarcerated brothers and sisters being able to vote situation. And I was kind of wondering once that news break, like, would they validate her, petition signs or still force her to write in? So
we'll see.
Some questions. Got some questions.
We'll see. Anything else going on besides politics? Let us know what's happening. Sean McCarthy's in the chat. Morning, everyone. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing all right. Like I said, Sherman wakes me up with that track. I try to put it loud in the headphones so I can wake up. Get all the way up.
Yeah, some Big Sherm, some drunk ship.
Up a drunk ship.
Yeah. Get your morning started off right.
That's right.
I'm feeling good, man. Basketball season kicked off last night. I know you're not a big sports guy, but basketball is my favorite sport.
Yeah. Hey, that's great. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm with it too for sure.
Hey, and taking it back, like, a lot of the old school franchises are reaching a new level of relevancy, man. The Celtics just won a championship. The Knicks are good again. Right. How long has that been?
Yeah. Since back when I was watching ball, probably.
Man,
Celtics and the Lakers, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. That's about the last.
Yeah. Of course, this is the era of James and Son.
King James and Son.
And Son
now. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Hey man, I just saw a commercial from the early 2000s with Bernie Mac in it, and he was like in the church. He was like a preacher, and they were
Oh,
talking about King James, and then he
yeah.
came in. He was passing the ball around. I forgot
Yeah.
about man that commercial was so hyped. I forgot about that commercial, man.
Man, yeah, LeBron, man, remember the old LeBron Sprite commercials?
Yeah, man. Back
Yeah,
when he, back
yeah,
when he
yeah.
had his hairline,
Man.
the
Way
real one,
back,
the
way
real
back.
one,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
real one, the real one.
Yeah, that part, that part.
Marlon Harris. Marlon Harrison says, "Good morning, First Sky fam is officially Scorpio season." Okay,
Okay. Shout out to all the
yes.
Scorpios out there. My best friend's a Scorpio.
Is that
Yeah.
right? I don't know
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
about it. Yeah. What's
You
the
not a big
character?
astrology guy?
No, no, not really. Not into it.
Okay.
I think it's for fun. I get nervous when people start basing hanging everything on it.
Come
So
on now, Paul. You ain't never wrote. No, hey, baby, what's your sign? You
nah,
name
bro.
name.
I'm old, but I ain't that old. I wasn't trying to holler at nobody in the '70s, baby. What's your sign?
What's your sign, baby?
I came up in the '80s. Prince said it don't matter what sign you're compatible with.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yep, yep. Sue Hagen gives us a good morning. Ariel's 402 says one of the last dying code talkers, John Kinzel Sr. that passed Saturday, 107 years old.
Okay.
What's the dying code talker?
Man, yeah, yeah. Learns me about something. Put me
Yeah,
on game.
learn me. Good morning to you, by the way. Appreciate everybody coming on in this morning early for the hellos and how you doings.
Yeah.
Wednesday the weather's getting a little chilly. It's supposed to rain this
Yeah.
morning, and yeah,
Sure.
we're in this weird thing where you turn on the air some part of the day and then heat another part of the day. So
Yeah. From what I've been seeing, like, I still get like Omaha news coverage and things like that. And they've been like hoping for the rain. Like, has it really been that bad out there? What's
as
going
far
on?
bad how? What you mean?
Like, as far as just, I guess, heat, if you be hoping
Heat?
for the
No,
rain.
it's been a little chilly last couple of days. Really, like
Mm,
I don't understand that. It got real chilly last night. I was kind of out last night, and I was like, man,
man,
yeah, it's starting to get there. It's definitely changing. It's definitely changing. I
it's the season.
didn't necessarily have to turn the heat on quite yet, but I'm at least test it out. Go ahead and burn the
Yeah.
dust off of it and all that.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and get those furnaces warmed up, get them going. You don't
Get them
want to just
checked.
crank it on. Yeah, don't want to just crank it on when you need it. I thought I was gonna have some issues with my furnace. Said to let it set for a day or two, but luckily we just needed to change the filter. That's all.
Man,
Yeah.
gotta change that filter.
Yeah,
Michelle
man. Yeah,
Moreno
man.
gives us a good morning. Sarah Phelps gives us a good morning. Good morning. Appreciate you guys coming in. Heather Williams says we need the rain. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Has it been dry or something? Like, well, now that I think about it, we haven't really talked about it this much. But again, a few chat chimers did express, the desire to talk about some environmental justice, environmental news and stuff, and
Go.
haven't really talked about the fires that's been going on in
Mm,
Nebraska. I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but it's been several
mhm.
wildfires, brush fires going on across Nebraska, which seems like it's becoming more and more frequent. I don't know if that has
Mhm.
anything to do with
Could
the
be.
global
Yep.
warming and things, but yeah,
Could be.
just a thought, just a thought.
Sue Hagen says we're so dry here. We have burn bans going on right now. Okay, I
So
didn't know.
yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
didn't realize.
something's going
Yep.
on, man.
Yep.
It's a
Yep.
thing.
Ariel's 402 says Den A is how the Navajo people is what how Navajo people call themselves. Europeans gave them Navajo names. Okay. So
Ah,
so the brother is 100. So one of the last code talkers at 107 years old. Wow. Wow. I mean, it's crazy how languages get lost like that, man. Like that's rough.
man,
That's rough.
the Danae. Oh, Danae. Okay, okay, okay.
Den A. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it say that way.
Yeah. Oof. Well, once again, if you're just joining us, like we appreciate it. Hellos, how you doing? All that good stuff. 7 o'clock hard news start, and we got a couple special guests coming in today. Jaquila Yarborough is coming back, and also Kimara Snipes is going to come back
Hey,
and fill us in on what's going on. Talking about it. Lots happening coming up this weekend. There's some special guests coming into town. Democratic Party is really stepping some things up.
man,
Kamala Harris camp reached out to us. Everybody's trying to get down, man, because we're in the last stretch. The
and all
last
eyes on
stretch.
the blue dot.
Yep, yep. So we'll talk about it coming up in the fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Happening now.
Hey.
Let's go. morning. Good morning. Good morning. Get ready to chime in. A fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Happening now. My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the God. Talking to you, the chat chimers, all the ghost listeners. Thanks for joining us. All the monitoring spirits.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys too. But
See.
especially you, the chat chimers that help us with this show with your great comments and questions and so on and so forth. It is Wednesday, the October the 23rd right now. So coming up on Halloween, I guess, is the next big deal happening around here. So
I'm dead.
yep. Pumpkin patches and so on and so forth. Marlon Harrison says it's been so dry lately that a lot of pumpkin patches ain't allowing fire pits.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
So
it's been pretty dry out here for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I figured
But-
something was up. It was on the news wishing for the rain.
Man, wishing for the rain, which it probably will rain today for a little bit. So watch out for that. It's supposed to be a little cooler today. But also, I just want to mention that we got a couple special guests coming in. If you're just joining us, Jaquila Yarborough is going to join us again. She's a write-in candidate for Douglas County Commissioner, and she's going to come and talk about that a little bit. And then of course, our own Kimara Snipes is coming through. You know, she's running for OPS school board.
Man,
She's in the race too. So we want to talk to her a little bit about that because every time she comes on, she's always talking about everything else that we got going on with her. So we're going to come on and talk about her race a little bit and a few more things as well. So again, thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. We do have some news and stuff to talk about today. We appreciate everybody that's put news in Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page on Facebook. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. And also, while we're at it, do us a favor, share the show on your page, especially if you're on Facebook and YouTube, and share the show and get as many people in as possible for us to have a more broad conversation. It's always a good thing. Pops wanted to let everybody know that he was a little under the weather, so he was going to sleep in this morning. And if anybody asks, that's what's going on. And he wants to say hi and mad love from Las Vegas. So
get well soon.
Yep. Let us know what's going on in your hearts and minds as well. Let us know, put it in the chat. We'll definitely have more of a conversation on some of these topics after the 8:00 hour. Hope you stick with us the whole time. Meantime, between time, buddy, what's going on over there on your side of the world?
Yeah. Again, for those who are just now tuning in or, might not frequent too much and forgot, we like to start off with some community news. Again, things that might not make its way to mainstream outlets and headlines, but still worth mentioning of importance in our community and to us, man. So again, big shout out to everybody who is sharing stuff from Friends of First Sky. That is where we get a lot of our community news. So again, big shout out to the fam out there, the squad, keeping us on top of things that's going on. And I wanted to start off with giving a shout out to actually some partners of ours. Big shout out to Diane Good Collins over at MCC and the 180 Reentry Program. Getting down with Udalale, man. If you haven't been, go check it out. Not only is it good food in a good area, but for a good cause, man. Again, giving formerly incarcerated brothers and sisters an opportunity to make their way back into society and do so with their own mind power and own abilities. Again, working to get some coin in their pockets. Again, in the light of the most recent big news of the Supreme Court decision to allow formerly incarcerated brothers and sisters to vote. This is what's on the mind, on the hearts. Again, allowing them to come back into society, not just punishing them forever for decisions that they made, man. Mistakes. We all make mistakes, but where is the retribution? Where is the reclamation? How can you come back? So big shout out to Odalale.
For those you recognize the building, used to be Mark's in the Dundee area, and I'm working on a story right now about how much opposition they had a little bit for this place coming because of the formerly incarcerated people they were trying to employ here, and then they turned around on it because they got up in there and the food was so good and the service was so great. Now it's a staple. It's a staple in Dundee now. So yeah, man, if you get a chance, matter of fact, you got to go ahead and just make a reservation. You can't just walk up in that mug. It's that exclusive now. So shout out to Udalale and Diane Good Collins and everybody who was behind putting this together for real.
Man, pinkies up. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard good things about the chefs over there, man. Getting down. So yeah, check it out, man. Udalale, again, good food for a good cause. And then also, while we're talking about our re-entry efforts out there in the community, shout out to Black Men's United's re-entry resource program. Looks like they also have some resources for our brothers and sisters. Again, not only looking to vote, but just looking to get life back on track. It's always hard I've had some brothers and sisters that I've talked to, just kind of getting the reality about what it's like after serving time, kind of, what they consider paying their dues to society after their mistakes, and then wanting to come back and just return to life. It's always hard, especially if you're, serving years. You come back, technology is different, family and friends don't, can't really communicate with them, skills. It's hard starting over. So again, big shout out to everybody that's working to assist our brothers and sisters and make sure that they can get back into the folds of society, man. So,
There
and
you
Black
go.
Community United getting down. In other news, shout out to the youth, man. We're all about the babies as well. Youth Leadership Council coming up. This is something that's going on, I believe, this weekend. Yep, Saturday the 26th. Again, at the Washington Branch Library, the Youth Leadership Council, hosted by Voices for Children. If you're interested in getting down with that, there is a number there, as you see, RSVP with Nia at 402-500-3630. Again, that's 402-500-3630. And yeah, again, all about the youth, man. What do the babies have to say, especially in light of some of the violence that's going on, some of the other things happening in our community, some of the opportunities that are falling between the cracks? Yeah. What do the youth have to say, man? Let them speak their voices and have their minds be free. And also, speaking your voices and having your mind be free, there's some opportunity for the community to have their voices heard coming up. Again, the mayor is hosting her town halls. Actually, I believe we just missed one, so we'll look out for some dates for that. I believe the next one is coming up on the 30th. And then also there's the We Make Omaha meetings coming up very soon. Several opportunities for, again, individuals in the community, regardless of, economic background, position, station in life. If you live in Omaha, if you're a part of the community, you have the opportunity to speak up and speak out about what the future of Omaha is going to look like. Too often we feel like plans are being made without us. Things are going up around us, but here's the opportunity to have a seat at that table. Again, the We Make Omaha conference is coming up. So we'll be dropping dates in the chat and on Friends of. Look out for that. But several opportunities coming up. I think there's one even coming to the Culture House. So yeah, shout out to homie Marcy Yates, the whole crew at the Culture House, still getting down, still doing the work as well.
For sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Also, speaking of getting down and doing the work, definitely still time to do the work and get down with this voter registration. Almost got it. And again, light of the news of the Supreme Court decision, a lot of people questioning what's going on with the registration for our formerly incarcerated brothers and sisters, trying to use the words specifically and carefully. Again, there's until October 25th. That's just what, 2 days? Yep.
Yep.
2
Two
days.
more days.
2 more days to register to vote in person. So again, reach out to your loved ones, reach out to your family, reach out to your friends. Let them know there's still hope. Again, a lot of formerly incarcerated brothers and sisters that were hoping to vote kind of got just I will say discouraged. There's the word I'm looking for.
Mhm.
Discouraged by the decision to delay this whole voting situation. But again, in light of the news, let's try to re-encourage them. Let them know that it is still hope, still opportunity to get out there and vote. So look out for that.
Yep. Shout out to Senator Terrell McKinney, who's getting the
Yeah.
word out to his constituents. Yeah, man.
Don't forget to put some respect on his name. Big
That's
time,
right.
big time.
Senator Terrell McKinney put some
Yeah,
respect on his
yeah,
name
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Actually, speaking of that, there is some big things going on this weekend, man. Kind of, I don't know, is it breaking news, Paul, with the senators and linking up with one of the Justins from Tennessee, aka part of the Tennessee Three. If you remember that big story that broke out, they tried to remove the brother from the legislature and wasn't having it. And again, he will be making his way to Omaha. Brother Justin Pearson will be joining the community for a meet and greet. So yeah, definitely check that out. And then also this weekend, I believe they'll be pounding the pavement, a canvassing event with the likes of Senator Terrell McKinney, put some respect on his name, and Sister Ashley Spivey, put some respect on her name. So yeah, if you want to get down, definitely hit them up. I believe there's a link for those who are interested in registering. Been pounding
Yeah.
the pavement.
Yeah, for the pounding the pavement event, I think that's going to be a hot one right there. I'll go ahead and put that link in the chat. You definitely have to sign up to volunteer and come on through. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, man, knocking some doors. Talking to the people out there. So been putting in the work. Final stretch. Just I think today marks the 2 week day. Is that it? Today marks the 2 week day from the election. So
Yesterday was 2 weeks, so we got
man,
less than
okay.
2 weeks now. Yep.
Man, clock is ticking. Clock is ticking.
Hmm.
So yeah, get out there, pound the pavement, and help. Also, let's see. Okay, the BAA meeting. I want to make sure I'm getting everybody in.
Hmm.
Also, this weekend going down, the BAA is coming together, bringing the community out to have a meeting of its own. This is kind of more of a closed meeting. Again, coming up with some community plans, some community visions for ourselves. Again, the community of North Omaha. Big shout out to Brother Kasim, Captain Q, as we like to call him around here, and the
Word.
whole BAA crew, man. Again, if you haven't already checked them out, definitely check it out. Going down at the Assembly of the Saints this weekend, opportunity to again address the issues and come up with some real solutions. That's what we're about around here. Not just talking about the news, but yeah, trying to find out what can we do about it to find some hope, to find some empowerment in the midst of the madness. So
Yep.
big,
Yep.
big shout out to the BAA. Feel like again, I am forgetting something. Shout out to Idle Vital. Can't forget about that. Health is wealth. Again, it's not just about coming up with plans to do in the community, but also making sure we eating right. Because if you're eating right, you're thinking right, and if you're thinking right, you're doing right. So again, shout out to the whole Idle Vital crew, man. Sister Amani getting down. New location coming very soon. As you see, they got the edifice coming together.
Hmm.
New sign up. Got the
Making it happen.
machines, yeah, slapping up the paint and everything. If you haven't already, definitely check out Idle Vital, man. Get your whole life with them juices. They also got like acai bowls and all kind of things. Get
Yeah.
right, get right,
Get out of that McDonald's line and go get you some hot
man,
chocolate.
man. Yeah, yeah.
McDizzles is tripping.
Man, go ahead. Let's go ahead and dive into our
McDizzles
headlines.
is
Man,
tripping, bro.
speaking of that, let's go ahead and dive into what is actually making headlines today. What we will be talking about, because yeah, man. Yeah, go ahead and get you some Idle Vital, man. Go ahead and put that McDizzles down, man. Mickey D's ain't gonna do you right.
Man, shout out to
Yeah.
Augie Kid breaking the news for us, man. Augie Kid was the first one on this. He saw this coming.
Yeah, man. I'm seeing I get kid posted before CNN. But yes, if you haven't heard the news, there is a major E. coli breakout going down, and it has been connected to the Royale with cheese, the double quarter pounder coming out
Mm,
of McDonald's. And unfortunately, there has been no laughing matter. Somebody has passed, several other people in the hospital. But yeah, man, McDonald's,
yeah.
count your days,
Somebody
count your
passed.
days.
The person who passed was in Colorado. Most of the
Yes,
breakout
yes,
is in Colorado. We got
yes.
about nine breakouts of it here. So they're highly, that's enough in a small little area like this for them to be like, no Royale with cheese for you right now,
Man,
for sure.
man, in a short amount of time, man, it's kind of just sprang up. So please be careful. And yeah, maybe Wendy's or something. I don't know. But in other
Idle
news,
vital, idle vital.
yeah, there you go. In other news, though, this is also something that we really need to look at, and this actually might be a very pivotal case, if you will. This coming out of WOWT, an attorney of an 11-year-old is asking for a request for dismissal of the case, saying that the young boy is too young for the trial. Again, he is facing
Mm,
charges for a murder that took place earlier this year, and again, in light of some of the comments from Sheriff Aaron Hansen, some of the conversations going on of friends of, yeah, more conversations to have about this, and definitely a case to pay attention to say the least. In other news, speaking of the youth, OPS is still chiming up. Apparently, things are going in the right direction as far as expulsions and suspensions. However, the disparity of race is still a problem. If you remember something that Brother Leo Lewis was trying to address several years ago, even ultimately led to the firing of Brother Sharif Lararu, but with how the community tried to address this issue. And yet here we are several years later, and racial disparities and suspensions in OPS still exists. Hopefully we can get into a little conversation with Sister Kimra about that a little later on.
yep.
Also, in other news, speaking of schools, youth sports. This is something that Brother Marlon Harrison has been kind of keeping us on top of. Of course, we talked about the situation at Benson High with them shutting down the last couple of games of their football season, and now several other schools across the state are closing down. I believe a youth women's basketball season has ended. One of the schools shut down their varsity basketball season, and now, yeah, some people are concerned about what is going on with youth sports in the state of Nebraska. So yeah, we might get into that a little later on. And other things, of course, Tenants United, the fight for housing is still raging on. Also, some information coming out about the judges that we've been talking about. So definitely want to point your attention to that as well. And of course, if there's anything that we're not talking about on your hearts and minds, feel free to jump into the chat, especially in the second hour. And yeah, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. In the meantime, between time, again, reminding you, we got Sister Kimara Snipes and Jaquela Yarborough coming through a little later on. Looking forward to that. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo.
What say you?
Man, I appreciate you guys coming on in the chat. Ariel's 402 earlier said drug dealers make for the best employees. Is like they are CEOs of companies. Yeah. There's a lot of talent out there for sure. So I appreciate everybody who's got these re-entry efforts going on to make sure that people can point their talents in the right place. Christy Nora is in the chat saying good morning. Appreciate that very much. Also, Heather Williams is saying McDonald's trying to kill everyone. New name Laji Beba in the chat. Appreciate it. Says, wow, not surprising though. A little earlier in the chat. I think I missed it. Yeah, appreciate you coming in. New names. Definitely appreciate everybody who's coming in and bringing good comments. Kimara Snipes is in the chat already. We're going to be talking to her pretty soon as well. So appreciate you very much. Also, Arias 402 says, I bet if the schools would have flag football, they could have teams. Mayor Sanchez coming with the great ideas again. So appreciate that very much. We'll go to take a quick break and come back in and jump into some news. And then we'll be jumping into talking to our special guest. So stay tuned. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Be right back. Hold on, y'all. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us again. Fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning is happening now. But he's running in just in time. Appreciate that. Kimara Snipes says she's on our way to the headquarters. You know what that is. 30th and Ames over there at the Scooters. Man, I miss having meetings over at the Scooters over there. So shout out to her for heading to the headquarters. She'll be joining us a little bit later on in the show, so stay tuned for that. Like I said, Women's Wednesday going down again. Jaquila Yarborough is coming through first, and then Kimara Snipes after. So I hope that you stay for the whole show and be able to hear from these prolific ladies on the show here, and get your questions ready too. Ask some good questions on this. Both running for office. We are in that season right now. It's happening. There's less than 2 weeks away from this election that's going down, and a lot is happening around town for sure. So appreciate that. But a lot of people reaching out to us on the campaign tip as well. So shout out to everybody who's doing that. Shout out to Ashley Spivey running for District 13. Big way. Of course, we're behind Senator Terrell McKinney, who's rerunning he's on his second go around here, so we can try to really make some things happen in there, man. It's going to be something else. Also, shout out to Barbara Whites for region as well, man. Got some information on how the Whites family is moving a little bit when it comes to the colleges. You know, when they're doing stuff like taking DEI offices down. Yeah, they're kind of messing with some of their donors around here and stuff like that too by doing that kind of stuff. So, you know, there's always going to be some repercussions. But yeah, definitely going down. So shout out to everybody who is in the race and everybody who's reached out. Like I said, Miss Ashley Spivey especially, is out here spreading the word. She's door knocking just about every single day. So that is really something to be looking out for, and to help with if possible too. So another thing that I wanted to mention too, there's a donation party coming up. This is the time of the year to really kind of get your winter warm stuff happening, your coats, your socks, all the stuff that you
Man,
can maybe help donate. So this is going off. There's a couple drop off locations happening here. 13th and Howard is one of them. So we'll drop this in Friends of First Sky Omaha and let you know how you can kind of donate. Winter warmth drive for the homeless. It's happening now too. We're all about
man.
that. So yeah, man, I dug out some stuff. I got a coat and bag of socks in my trunk right now, ready to go take it somewhere.
That's the big one. Emphasis on the socks, man. Anytime there's like polls, anytime that I always hear like one of the highest, most requested items from our houseless brothers and sisters are socks, socks and hygiene materials.
Yeah, big time, man. Big time. So there you go. And yeah, so get that stuff ready if you got it's time kind of time to start digging that stuff out of the closet in the basement. And if you got some extra stuff, definitely help some folks out, especially the ones that are going to be dealing with the cold weather
Man,
and no shelter. It's just I can't even imagine. So yeah, do what we can. In the meantime, between time 7:21 right now, if you believe in the concept of time, we got special guests coming. So let's go ahead and jump into some news. Buddy, what's first up on the agenda?
yeah, man, getting into this health news again. McDonald's is one of the most popular restaurants in the world, and yeah, I'm sure one of y'all, even if you yourself aren't a McDonald's eater, I'm sure the babies. Can I get some McDonald's? I don't know about y'all's, but I definitely know about mine. But yeah, man, it's time to take a little extra precaution when it comes to the double quarter pounder. It seems like again there has been a multi-state outbreak potentially linked to McDonald's double quarter pounder hamburgers,
Mm,
and it has made its way to Nebraska. Actually, as Paul mentioned earlier, 9 cases of E. coli have been identified in Nebraska, including 4 each in the Douglas and Sarpy Cass public health districts. That's according to health officials who made an announcement yesterday. The CDC reported Tuesday that 49 people from 10 different states had gotten sick. And again, there was about 27 of those were from Colorado, which is kind of the worst area so far, and the location of the lone death that has been linked to this outbreak. Again, the 9th Nebraska case was reported in the Lincoln Lancaster Public County Health District. About 10 people have been hospitalized in the larger outbreak, including 3 in the Omaha Metro. So, again, there are some locations in the Omaha Metro that have been linked to this outbreak. Those patients do range in age from 22 to 75, so there does not look to be any distinction of age. However, one older person in Colorado again has died, and also one child has been hospitalized with complications from a uh, hemolytic uremic syndrome, excuse me, which is a serious condition that can lead to kidney failure. So again, this is not really a laughing matter as far as again the severity of this danger. So again, if you know yourself are a frequenter of McDonald's, and maybe make some healthier car choice or food choices right now. So yeah, just kind of the update. I mean, there's not really too much else to add to that, man. Just be careful. Again, some of the symptoms to look out for are severe stomach cramps, diarrhea, vomiting, or a low fever, which usually occurs 3 to 4 days after people are exposed to what's known as the Shiga toxin, which produces E. coli. So
mm.
again, if there are any concerns, you can call 402-471-2937. Again, that's Nebraska's DHHS Epidemiology Office. Again, that's 402-471-2937.
There you go. Shout out to Augie Kid who broke it first for us,
Man,
reported on this.
the fan.
Yeah, saw this coming and went ahead and brought it to our attention. They said that it's the quarter pounder with the quarter pounder in particular is the one that's really kind of that's got a strain in. I don't know why the meat is different in the quarter pounder than it is the
Yeah.
Big Mac and everything else, but I guess people they said people been saying if they've been breaking out with it saying, yeah, I just went to McDonald's and had some food, and they were like, and even more specifically, I had the quarter pounder. So I was like,
Hmm.
okay. Yeah, so watch out for that Royale with cheese. You don't want
Man, the Royale, man.
to
Yeah,
mess with it.
leave you royally messed up. So again, please be careful. And if you are going to eat McDonald's, then I would just urge you just not to. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
there's that. There's
I
that.
feel
So
that. Mama
Yeah.
got in the chat earlier, said good morning to you. She says thanks for that information, appreciate that very much. Also,
Yeah.
RG is saying morning, y'all. Let's get it. We got Jonathan Benjamin Alvarado in the chat this morning saying good morning, brothers. Appreciate you listening all the way from Texas.
Hey,
That's what's
okay, okay. JBA, how's it
happening.
going this morning?
Yeah, appreciate you coming
Yeah.
on through today. Yeah, stay tuned with us again. We have Jaquilla Yarbrough, who's running as a write-in candidate for Douglas County Commissioner this time around, and also Kimara Snipes will be with us a little later in the show too, who's running for OPS school board. So stay tuned. Augie Kid, it's doo baby. Augie Kid, the man on
Hey.
the street when it comes to that. So that's
Yeah,
what's up.
man. Thanks,
Appreciate
thanks for
that.
that tip off, man. And yeah, y'all. Be careful. Be careful.
Mama got said, did you say several days before symptoms appear? Was that part of
Yes,
that?
3 to 4 days. 3 to 4 days. So yeah, if you've been to McDonald's in the last couple of days, do some self check.
Yeah.
Stay aware, especially if got the bad guts.
See what your guts is talking about. Brother Pina Valadares is giving us a buenos dias this morning. Good morning. Appreciate you, brother.
Peace in the D's.
Yep. Let's move on to the next one because like I said, we do have special guests coming in, so we want to make sure we get the
Yeah.
stories in. What's next on the agenda?
Man, so this is something that we have been talking about on the show, and I want to point our attention to because this might be a pivotal case depending on how judges respond. How the courts rule on this situation. Again, this is coming off the response from Sheriff Aaron Hansen. If you haven't seen the video on Friends of First Sky, basically kind of calling for something to be done about these youth incidents. Again, right now we have a situation in Douglas County where youths get in trouble, get into incidents, have encounters with police, end up behind bars, but due to how policies are being enacted, they can't be held. They're sent back home, which kind of, in many ways seems to be emboldening this type of behavior.
Hmm.
But now there's a case that we should look out for. There was a very very heinous situation where six youngsters basically robbed a gun shop in Nebraska City and ultimately took the life of a man on 93rd and Maple in Omaha. One of those youngsters involved was an 11-year-old young boy, and his attorney is asking for the case to be dismissed. And again, there's a lot of conversation, and we even spoke to Senator McKinney about the possibility of some of these bills being reintroduced to, again, um, basically for the courts to view our young boys as men, to try them as adults, especially in these heinous crimes. But it is being argued again by the attorney of the 11-year-old boy that he is incompetent to stand trial. Investigators allege the youngsters had returned to get more guns, and the law requires that the 11-year-old and 13-year-old who are involved to go to juvenile court, which is about rehabilitation and not punishment. However, the 14 and 16-year-old and 17-year-old that were involved are all facing adult murder charges. The attorney, however, for the young person is saying that apparently, he had a competency evaluation. The attorney says the expert concluded that the 11-year-old is quote unquote not competent to stand trial. And because of that, he's asked the judge to dismiss the case. However, the state is pushing back to this. The state objects that arguing the evaluator didn't look at the full picture of the underlying offenses when reaching the competency conclusion, such as the police reports connected to the case. They also question whether the expert reviewed the 11-year-old's interview with detectives after he was arrested. In fact, the state has asked for extra time for the judge to conduct their own competency evaluation with a different expert. Three of the other teenage suspects currently being charged as adults have asked the judge to reconsider rulings to send them to juvenile court as well. So again, um, not really, I don't really know as far as where to go with the conversation right now, but this is a case to look out for. This is a case to pay attention to because based on how the judges rule in this case, you have to know that this will make a reappearance in the legislature next session. Somebody's going to point to this case to either defend or bolster their argument.
And the argument is that there's a bill out there that they're trying to pass to be able to detain 9-year-olds as young as 9 years old and convict as early as 12 years old.
As an adult.
Kimara as an adult. Kimara Snipes, who will be on here shortly on the show here, has a lot to say about this. This is a bill that she's very much opposed to and has been vocal about. We'll have to talk to her about some of that too. But yeah, with all the things that's been going on here in town with the youngsters, this is a big question. This is something that's definitely forefront of mind and continuing conversation. Like Buddy says, next session is going to be huge. So definitely keep an eye on this, and we'll talk to Miss Snipes about this a little later on.
Big time, big time. And connected to this, the larger conversation kind of zooming out is what's going on in OPS, because this this end, as far as charging our youth as adults, is the far end of the preschool to prison pipeline. But before we get there, what's going on in the schools? And this is something that is very interesting, because the numbers are going in the right directions in OPS, but which numbers are we talking about? Again, this coming out of Omaha World Herald. It looks like suspensions and expulsions are again going in the right direction. Fewer OPS students faced in school suspension and expulsion last year, according to the article. However, the question is the demographic. Black students were nearly 3 times as likely to experience those consequences as their peers. At Monday's school board meeting, district officials presented a set of behavior and discipline trends, especially focusing on exclusionary repercussions and the differences of experiences between various student demographics. Superintendent Matt Ray says we're making progress, but we still have work to do. Again, a similar report for 22 and 23 unveiled this summer showed that while severe consequences like out of school suspensions and expulsions were projected to drop, again, students of quote unquote color were still being suspended at a higher rate than other students. Monday's report solidified those findings, again, just confirming that the trend is continuing. Again, 2023 school year to 2023-24 school year had a drop of 15% in suspensions, and long-term for short-term suspensions and long-term suspensions decreased about 12%. Also, expulsions dropped about 18%. So again, those numbers are going in the right direction, but again, the demographic is an issue. Officials found that nearly 46%, almost half of out-of-school suspensions, were Black students, although Black students only account for 24% of the full population. Hence, again, the correlation between the school population and the prison population. That disparity is it's almost number for number, point for point, as far as the disparity in schools and school suspensions versus the disparity in prisons. Again, white students only make up about 14% of out of school suspensions, while making up 22% of um, the school population. So,
Mm.
while Black students basically are 2 to 3 times more likely to be suspended, as you see, the white students half that. So very, very concerning still, as I mentioned earlier in the show. This excuse me, this is something that the community has tried to respond to and address. Shout out to brother Leo Lewis. I'm not quite sure where his efforts are. I know he organized several parents, met with teachers, met with um, district officials. Again, I don't know where that conversation went. It kind of seemed like it just kind of died away or fell off. But yet here we are several years later, and the issue still continues.
Kimara Snipes has a very good point here. She says the key word "a case." They make it seem as though there are tons of kids running around committing these crimes, but really it's only a handful. Also, she talked about the 360 meeting where she was at. She says Commissioner Rogers just talked about it at 360. There's not a ton of kids committing these crimes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so there, that's something to keep in mind as well. So it doesn't take away the negative part when people lose their lives. I fully understand that. But you're right. It's not like it's very sensational headline when something like this happens, because it is very rare. Could you repeat, Miss Snipes? I know you know the bill number. Michelle Moreno was asking what bill is that. I can't remember the name, the bill number that is talking about detaining 9-year-olds and stuff like that. If you have that on hand, would you put that in the chat for us?
Yeah, I believe
But
it's
yeah,
620, but yeah.
yeah, I couldn't figure out where to check in time here. So if Miss Snipes has it, but yeah, that's the thing we're talking about here is that part. They got to figure something out, and they're meeting about this and talking about this all the time and trying to find solutions. Of course, we're partnered and work with organizations like the Black Agenda Alliance that's working with kids directly. I've been to meetings myself that them and Untamed put on, that were dealing with the kids. The kids were right there. Some of the kids that were in trouble and having some issues and on the verge were right there, and they were asking up, standing for help from these
Mhm.
organizations that are saying, "Hey, we'll take you in. We'll do flag football with you. We'll do all these different things." So kids are looking for something and looking for some kind of to help, help to do. A little earlier in the chat, as a matter of fact, Tony Johnson was talking about a case. He said he read about a teenager yesterday who beat up an adult with a group of juveniles watching and cheering at a car event in a church parking lot.
Oh
So
yeah.
there's still some things going on with some of these kids, and you can see how they can easily fall into the peer pressure and the mob mentality of acting out. If there's nobody there to break that up, there's no adults around that can try to give them something different to do. I mean, these things are going to keep happening. But to Kimmer's point, they are rare. It is rare. Might
Mhm.
not mean that they need to be passing a law where they can detain 9-year olds and treat 11-year olds like adults.
But that's unfortunately, that's where the conversation is, and that's kind of my point. Yeah, I don't. I hope that our reporting on it and our conversation about it isn't adding to the sensationalism and making it seem like there's this rampant thing. But there is that conversation is happening in the state, and yes, these bills are being presented. And my point is, we as a community should probably figure out a solution before the state does, because we know what the state solution is: more bars, more beds, more sales.
Mm.
So is that where this is going? Is that, I mean, ultimately we see that is where it's going. That's where it's going. You see Sheriff Hansen chiming up. Again, we'll see how the judge rules on this case. But that's where the state is taking it. That's where the conversation is going. And unless we want to see more kids behind bars, then we got to do something.
Most def. Appreciate your comments on this. It is 7:37. If you believe in the concept of time, that is, we do believe in the concept of agreements. We agree that there's going to be some special guests coming on here pretty soon. That's why we're kind of burning through the news here a little bit. Make sure that we have some time for our special guest, Jaquila Yarborough, who's coming in. She's a write-in candidate for Douglas County Commissioner, and then also Kimara Snipes, our own Kimara Snipes, is coming through with she's running for OPS School Board. So definitely some questions along the lines of what can be done here, even with these stories, with the two ladies that are coming on as
Mm.
well. So shout out, and then remember, there's some things out there for people. Definitely some things coming up, like this Youth Leadership Council is happening at the Washington Branch Library on Saturday, 26. Again, there's things that we can involve our kids in, happening all over with some really good people that are really trying to put some things together. So definitely check some of these things out. This in particular, Saturday the 26th at 11:30 to 1:30, Youth Leadership Council at the Washington Branch Library. Definitely check that out. And then also get them involved in some stuff like this, man. Winter warmth
Man,
drive for the homeless. Put some of that energy into taking care of folks instead of hurting folks. All it really takes is like one adult to say, "Hey, let's rally together and go do some of these things. Let's go around and gather some coats up and go take it over here to this donation party." You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
There's so many things that can be done if we have the capacity to do them. So we appreciate everybody who's already been doing that and putting programs together. I know Kimber Snipes is one of them. She used to do stuff out of the Washington Branch all the time. So there's good people doing good work to try to help keep kids out of trouble. For the most part, that's happening. For
Yeah,
the most
yeah,
part, that is happening.
man.
We can always use more. We can always use more, but for the most part, that's happening. So
Yeah, I would like to
yeah,
think that, the hundreds of kids that we saw at the Step Up, at the Empowerment Network program, it's more of them than kids out, the 5 or 6 kids that's out doing this shenanigans. So
very true.
yeah, that's definitely that narrative too. And anytime you have any stories, any, things to shout it out.
Yeah. There you go. Appreciate everybody's comments on these subjects here. We got a few more minutes before our special guest comes on. Buddy, you want to jump into the next story?
Yeah, kind of had another angle to the whole school situation. Again, kind of talking about what's going on with youth sports
Hmm.
situation. Again, uh, this coming on the heels of the Benson news of the Benson High Bunnies canceling their last 2 varsity
Yeah.
football games, not having enough players, not having enough students, and now out in rural Nebraska, Grand Island Senior High School will not be offering varsity girls basketball this winter. The school made the announcement Friday morning, as news release says no junior or senior student athletes are planning to go out for the sport. Grand Island has the largest girls enrollment of any school in Nebraska. That's according to the Nebraska School Activities Association. A spokesman says Grand Island will not offer junior varsity girls basketball either. So it seems like the whole girls basketball program is closing down. Instead, the school will work to develop younger girls at the freshman and reserve levels. Um, in a statement, they said, "We're committed to this program, and it's because of our commitment to cultivating girls basketball at Grand Island in our state that we are taking this difficult but innovative approach. We want to provide the best student athlete experience we possibly can for our kids. Right now, we don't have the numbers to roster an upper class varsity team, so our focus will be continue to developing our freshman and sophomore players and put together a full court press, quote unquote, towards rebuilding our youth programs in our country, our community, excuse me." So again, unfortunately, we're seeing a trend across the state. It's not just Grand Island, not just Benson, but several other areas across the state are seeing similar trends with again a decline in youth sports. Numerous high schools across all classes are facing challenges with fielding teams for girls basketball. As difficult as the decision is not to offer a varsity schedule for a year, we agree that our activities departments and girls basketball coaching staff that we need more proactive in building long-term solutions for the program. So again, I know
And
we're not a heavy sports show, but Guillermo, I think that's your neck of the woods out there in Grand Island, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, let us know what this means for directly to that community. But I know what sports can mean, just growing up and remembering, especially young men, that I was around, how their life could have went one or two ways. It could have been the streets, or luckily a lot of them went to sports and kind of was steering it in a better, different direction, even, seeing college as an opportunity through sports. So again, I know you're not big on the sports, but here we are talking about youth, talking about the conversation around youth. What is the future of the youth? What are they doing? And here we are with an opportunity, something that's constructive for them, kind of falling by the wayside.
yeah, it's really not about sports. It's really about
Yeah, right, right.
youth activity, and we just talked about that. There's things for youth to do, but if they're getting taken away, that's very concerning. Sounds like Brother Pena is just finding out. He says thanks for the update. So
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
report back to us, man. Let us know, how that affects the area. If you talk to anybody, if it's affecting anybody in the area. Yeah, that's it's very concerning. I've never in my life heard of any sports program shutting down. Now I'm from California, where there was a lot of music programs, and then I was
Right.
around when the music programs started getting shut down, and that was like they were really letting that happen. But I've never heard of sports programs getting shut down ever. So that's interesting. Tony Johnson in the chat says maybe the increased interest in WNBA will start to trickle down in Nebraska. Feels like Nebraska going in the opposite direction of that
Right, right.
right this minute, canceling that stuff out. I
Specifically
asked.
girls.
Mhm. I asked, last time I hung out with, brother Jonathan Benjamin Alvarado, who was just on the channel
Mm.
earlier. I asked him, I said, "If we were to talk about sports on the channel, what would be top of mind?" He said, "Girls volleyball is huge all around the country." So that would be something to really kinda keep your eye on. So there's some other sports there that I think is probably gets more emphasis here in Nebraska than others, but it's still very concerning for a school program to shut down any sports program, period, to this level, and really like on the heels of what we were talking about earlier with the basketball, with the football,
Mhm.
with the Benson Bunnies. Yeah, it's incredible. I've never been around to hear. I never heard this before. I never heard about school sports shutting down. That's the one
Yeah.
thing that always stayed. You know
And
what I mean?
and my question is, if they're not doing the sports, like, what are they doing? What is capturing their attention? What are they doing? What are youth doing with their time nowadays? If sports isn't um as popular,
And my
is it?
question is that the only factor? It's just not that popular with kids?
I don't know. That's a good
Or
question.
is it other resources or other, like, what's going on? What's going, it can't just be just because the kids are interested or not interested. Like, what's happening?
Is it pickleball? I know pickleballs. People playing pickleball.
Well, I appreciate everybody who's joined in here too. Also, Areas 402 says, have those schools have a disc golf team. Hey, I just found out that there's a frisbee golf course out by Lake Cunningham. I didn't understand that we had those here. I thought it would have been something that had been new and being
Nah, yeah.
introduced.
No, they're here.
But
Yeah.
that's already here though. So that's what's up. So you onto something there, Ariel's 402. I appreciate that. Brother Pena said we can't afford it. So can't so this is what I'm
Mm,
thinking. It ain't just because the kids aren't interested. The kids will get interested in some things in whatever you put out there for them to get interested in. But if there's no funding for it, why else would anything get shut down via lack of it has to be because of lack of funding, in my opinion. So there's some more questions that we definitely have here about this because we're not really just talking about sports. We're talking
sports,
about
right?
programs that kids need.
Man,
So
and when you put it like that, you think about the youth, the youth kids jail, that lack of programs. Like it's, yeah, where is the programming? What is there for our young folk to do in general?
there you go. Black Diamond in the chat. Good morning. He says, I wonder if video games are the new thing. Most def.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
that is, but I don't think that's the reason for the programs getting shut down. Brother McKinney, Terrell McKinney is in the chat. Senator Terrell McKinney, put some respect on his name. Says it's volleyball in Grand Island. They play year round.
Okay.
They got they
Okay.
got they got interest in money for that. Wanda Lewis in the chat. Good morning. Says just like UNO did away with their football, several new sports are being introduced with funding. So like
Okay.
follow the money. Why would
Right.
school
Right.
programs be shutting down? Jess Parker in the chat. Good morning. Says some are doing club sports instead of school sports. Some clubs don't allow participants to play for any other organizations or under any other coaches per the contract you sign when you're selected to participate. That's new
Okay.
news to me. I haven't heard about this. So okay,
Yeah. I mean, you got your AAU circuits, and that's interesting. That's interesting.
all of it
I'm
is
I'm
very
getting I'm going down the sports rabbit hole because I'm thinking of the NIL deals that's out there, like sports and youth athletes and that whole world, is changing, especially when you add in sports gambling and it is becoming legal in states. It's an interesting mix, interesting
very much so.
conversation.
One more comment before we get to our guests coming up. Brother Terrell, Senator Terrell McKinney says open enrollment and the specialization of sports is the problem. There you go. So
Okay,
getting some insight on there with that. So appreciate your comments there. We'll definitely come back to this story because, like I said, you kept on prefacing it with saying not into sports, but it's really not about sports, man. It's about these programs.
yeah, man.
Like, what and yeah, and sports is something that can really keep some kids out of trouble. So there you go. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's 7:47 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we got a special guest that oh lost her. Okay, so she's trying to get in right now, maybe having a little bit of tech problems. So
Okay,
we'll wait on Miss Yarborough to come through, talk a little bit with us about her subjects there. But yeah, there you go. Appreciate everybody that's joined in here. Tony Johnson in the chat says some of the strong programs also have strong support from community and others, minimize costs. It is the non-school conferences that are expensive.
yeah. AAU stuff could definitely get expensive. The camps, the travel, the equipment.
Yeah, Senator Justin Wayne has come on, and Senator Terrell McKinney too has come on and talked about this in length. The cost of what programs are. Some kids can't afford to join certain programs, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Also, Wanda Lewis is saying grades can be a factor for participants in schools.
It's a
So
good
if you
point.
got a lot of truancies, bad grades, then you're not going to be a part of the programs and so on. But again, man, it seems like it takes something bigger than just we didn't have enough interest with hundreds of kids in our school. We didn't have enough interest. It seems to be something that has to do with the funding to me. So yeah, yeah, it's definitely when we when I was looking at this morning, I was not going down this rabbit hole on this idea, but it's concerning. It's concerning. Like what's the issue here? There ain't no Benson bunnies. There's no football happening like in Nebraska.
Man. Yeah, again, what is there for the children to do is the ultimate question. So again, big shout out to those who are sharing that information and kind of taking it to the larger conversation,
Right.
brain drain, all of that.
Right. Looks like we have our special guest in. Man, she's having some real tech problems. As soon as I say she's in, she was back out. So yeah, hopefully
Hmm.
yeah, keep the line open here. Wait with her. Uh, I don't know if there's anything I can do from here to help you with your tech if you're hearing this. So yeah, just keep trying, I suppose. Appreciate it. With that said, like I said, it's 7:50 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we really appreciate everybody that's come on to the show this morning and is engaging with us in these conversations. We'll have more conversation about the topics after the 8 o'clock hour, so we encourage you to stick around there. And also, we'll have special guest Kimara Snipes that's going to come on with us as well pretty soon. So please stay tuned for that. Get your questions ready for her. She's always a wealth of knowledge when it comes to
Man.
everything that's going on. But this time we're gonna not ask her too many questions and let her talk about her run for OPS school board. So she's also this is the season of voting and it's going down. So we gotta give her some time as well. Heather Williams in the chat says my son is on the EA Sports Club. This is something that I was wondering about. So you asked about video games earlier. Yes, I think that this is going to be what we have to incorporate in the future. She says he doesn't
Definitely.
play baseball anymore because there is some bullying that happened on the team.
Hmm.
So problems happening with that, and now he's on the EA Sports Club. So that's video games, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be huge too. I remember Senator Dwayne came on one time. We were talking about having a complex in North Omaha that can be the start of the industry for video
Hmm.
game athletes.
It really is an industry. Again, the NBA. The NBA has a whole 2K league. Each actual franchise has its own 2K actual franchise of 2K players. They have tournaments. It's a whole thing, man. It's a whole thing. So
Incredible.
there is that, but as long as the youth man have something constructive to do, that's the big thing. So, more power to your son. Definitely glad Sister Heather Williams that he found something, something to get into. Something that
There you
fits.
go. There you go. Okay, looks like Miss Yarborough is back. We'll try to bring her in now and see if Miss Yarborough, can you hear us? Okay, still having a little bit of technical difficulty there. We can't hear you, and let us know if you can hear us, and we can't see you either. So we'll let you get that together. In the meantime, just give us a signal, give us a message if you can get on. We appreciate it. Yep, that's the problem sometimes when it comes to the online situations. Not always ideal, especially if you're on the move. So hopefully we'll be able to speak to her today. If not, we'll have her on another time as well. So stay tuned for all of that. Before we move on here, I just want to acknowledge we got to there's some people here that have been reaching out to us, working with us on some things. Actually, the Harris campaign, the Harris
Oh yeah, yeah.
Walls campaign, hit us up. Nebraska vote early today. They want us to spread the message about voting early. The Democratic Party really kind of stepping up, as a matter of fact. So that's really kind of what's happening. But this is a paid for by Harris for president, saying they're telling us Nebraska vote early today. Choose freedom. Choose Kamala. I will vote.com/NE. Bring your photo ID. Don't forget to bring the photo ID. We know Tim Walz was out here really rallying the other day. There's a lot of people that came out for that and for that
Man.
rally. So yeah, they're really kind of stepping it up, man. Kind of know that needs to happen out here in Omaha. So I'm seeing that a lot. So shout out to them for reaching out to us and wanting us to help spread the word on that. Or Nebraskans can vote early in person right now at their county election office Monday through Friday. Douglas County Election Commission has extended hours from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, October 26th, and Saturday, November 2nd. And don't forget to bring your photo ID. That's going to be so important.
Yeah, that part. That part.
They say you can also vote by mail if you got your mail-in ballot already. That is, make sure to sign the envelope and return it today at any drop box in your county in the mail, or take it to the county election office. So yeah, got to get. You have any questions? They said you can give her a call at 402-946-0005. And so there you go, man. The Harris campaign coming on, getting down with us,
Man.
wanting to spread the word. So shout out to them for
Yeah.
that. Okay, we're gonna try one more time. We got Miss Yarborough coming in one more time. Let's try. Okay, Miss Yarborough, can you hear us? Hmm. I wish that I don't know if you can hear us. I don't know if there's anything I can do to help you from our end. Uh, you gotta have the camera and the mic plugged in. I'm not sure. Or try the phone if you're listening offline. Try the phone. Okay. Yep. Might have to put it on another day. Might just have to have it on another
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
That's working.
Yep. Arrows 402 in the chat says there's bullying online as well. Can't forget that for sure. Yep. Rick Fulton is back in the chat. Good morning. He says, I'm enjoying the lame duck status of Mayor Jean Stothard. No doubt she will be ousted next spring.
Man, I mean,
We'll
it's
see.
gonna be interesting race. There's
She'll be
definitely some
running.
hats being thrown in the ring, so we'll see.
Heather Williams says the
Man,
JSSA, James Scurlock Sports Academy.
okay.
They have girls volleyball. They are trying to start a boys volleyball team. They also have swimming during the summer.
Man, this is
How did we not heard about this?
man, this is huge. Okay. Rest in peace, brother James.
Wow. That's what's up.
JSSA. Okay.
Thank you for the thank you for the
Yeah,
info on
yeah.
that.
If you got like a website or a link or something, drop that. Drop that in the chat.
Yes, please. Marlon Harris in the chat, good morning, also says, I know a lot of kids who are interested in other things outside of sports like drama, robotics, art and dance.
Man, okay. You speaking my language.
Good thing to remember. Yeah, that's right up our alley right there for sure. And speaking of which, I do know some kids that are in like as a matter of fact, we have a chat chimer that had a son that was into like the robotics competitions and stuff like that too. So there's
Yeah.
some tech and engineering going on out here in North Omaha, especially as well.
Actually, I think Miss Erica Felt, her son
Mhm.
Boogie was in the robotics and things like that. So
Right.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, interesting stuff, man. Interesting stuff. So I think that's what it is, man. And I also want to check in with brother Kasim at BAA because now he's not just doing flag football, but also the survivors club that he's doing. So there's even more hunting and fishing and all kinds of stuff that we're trying to do out here in a big way. So yeah, RG says James Scurlock Sports Academy. Yeah, this is definitely my first time hearing about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
man. Yeah.
Hey,
They've been, been working quietly, I guess.
be looking into this.
Yeah,
Definitely
haven't
will,
seen a lot of fanfare around that. So yeah, if you got any more information, we'll love to hear about that.
for sure. Let's take a quick break and then we're going to come back. We'll be at the top of the hour. Be time to do a little bit more, have a little bit more conversation, and then get ready for our next special guest. Apologize for not being able to connect with Miss Yarbrough this time. If you're listening to us, let us know. Hit us up. We'll definitely get you on again to talk about it, and we'll give you a call in between time and help you out with the tech as best we can. So yeah, appreciate you trying. We saw that. We saw you trying to come on in. So. Yeah, several times. Hey, tech be teching. Trust us.
Man,
We deal with
been
it on
there.
a regular basis over here. So we'll take a quick break and come back. It'll be the second hour of First Guy Omaha in the morning
In the morning.
coming up next. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're listening to First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy the God, all of you
Hey.
Tad Timers, ghost listeners, and monitoring spirits.
There you go.
Stay away from the Royale with cheese
Man.
right now. You don't want that E. coli.
E. coli.
Don't want that. Coming up on that 8 o'clock hour, man. Second hour is happening. No RG. We're not going for 3.
So nice want us to do it thrice.
But yeah, definitely stuff to talk about today. Really appreciate everybody who's joining in on the chat with your comments. Get your questions ready for Kimara Snipes is coming up here shortly as well. Can't wait to speak to her about a few things. In the meantime, between time, how y'all feeling? What's going on? What's the temperature here? What's the pulse on
Yeah.
on what's going on out here? How's everybody feeling about what's happening? You anxious about the about this election. People are it's really ramping up. There's people who are deciding to make the decisions they're deciding to make. I would highly suggest you go back and watch some shows that we did in the past. So we had
Yeah.
Dr. Cornell West on, who's also still running for president as well,
Yeah. Had Dr. Jill Stein on.
and
Still
Dr.
running.
Jill Stein as well. Right, we have some shows on some presidential candidates that's come on, in running in the independent realm, and so there's more than two choices out
Right.
here. But boy, are they trying to really make it feel like there's only two right now. Man, it's getting down to it. How you guys feeling on that? Let us know how you feeling. The anxiousness of this, or is it not really a part of your life as far as the anxiousness? Is there other things that you're more worried about? I'm personally worried about how much groceries is costing me right now.
Man.
It's on my mind a little bit more sometimes than the presidential election.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's interesting that the E. coli broke out at McDonald's the week that Donald Trump is in there flipping fries, by the way. Just the juxtaposition of stories on the news.
Man, I didn't even make that connection, bro. Hilarious.
Yeah, so that was a hot mess. Hot mess.
I wonder if the McDonald's he was at is connected to one of the outbreaks. Be crazy. Crazy.
Tony Johnson says that every team steps up when they feel they are losing with a minute on the clock. Another sports reference to you, Paul. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're definitely in the fourth quarter. Last inning.
Nice observation.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Everybody RG. Everybody is hitting us up. Yeah, left and right. I mean, this is the season we are the media in a sense. So it's like we're getting hit up left and right on people who want to spread the word. Definitely talk to our audience. I know we have very specific audiences as well. But also, we they know what the nature of our show is here. It's a conversation. It's who's in the rooms having really conversations about these things, pros and cons on stuff, and who's doing what and why, and so on, man. So, especially at this time of the year when things could very well get heated every time you open
Man.
your mouth, even with family members is falling out and all kinds of stuff over this election. What are you gonna do? And we're also in a very legendary. I mean, we say this. It seems like we say this every election period, but this is the historical moment that we're in right now, because of what could happen. Kamala Harris could become president. Would be the first woman president. Donald Trump somehow could do this again the second time. I was waking up this morning like in kind of half dream world, going, what, this country is a clown show. I felt like this was a clown show. Like I put myself in another country. I was like half in another country while I was waking up, just in my head, like, what are they looking at? What are they thinking about our leadership here? Can you imagine when another country is looking at Donald Trump being president when he was president? Like, they must have been like, they are being run by some clowns. Like,
Man,
you know what I'm saying? Like the feeling of just like they're not being serious about their leadership over there at all.
I'll be honest, like Biden kind of leading up to him stepping down from the reelection was like some of those debate moments, like it wasn't looking good. Like,
bro. I mean,
not looking good.
I mean, he kept his ideas straight. I'm dealing with some older family members that's got some dementia and stuff starting up. I'm seeing what it takes to keep your mind you have your cognitive load lessened enough to be able to think through. And so yeah, when I look at it like that, I'm like, man, he kept his mind, he kept his message. Everything else was feeling like it was falling apart, but he was sticking by what he was. I mean, he has a team. Obviously, he got a team. But yeah, I feel you on that. I feel you. Not to this degree of this clown show thing that I'm feeling though. I'm feeling like the seriousness of I don't feel like he took away from the seriousness of our leadership. The seriousness of it. No, not that I agree with the leadership, or not that I agree with everything, every decision, and so on and so forth. But just like, I can imagine being in another country going, they got who? They probably did that in the 80s too, when Ronald Reagan got the actor, like a dude said on Back to the Future. Yeah,
he was a cowboy, wasn't he? Reagan was a cowboy.
it gives you that anybody can be the president. If it gives you the like, but is that a good thing? Is it a good thing that anybody could be? It really
Depends
made
on who you ask.
if you think about it, it really makes you think like what is the criteria for us having a country? What does it actually mean? What is the criteria if like somebody can come in, some celebrity can come in for 4 years and just like clown around and mess with and be scared. We're scared that he gonna mess with the nuclear codes for 4 years and then dip out and then come back.
Still have the codes in his house somewhere. Just
And wants to bring the National Guard in on the people that voted against him. And just wildness. Not saying it's great in other countries. They got their problems too, but I'm just like, how must we look sometimes? RG in the chat, and on the subject of dementia, I heard more than once that a steady diet of video games or anything else requiring rapid brain reactions offsets those effects.
okay, that's interesting. I have to look
Never
into
heard of
that.
that one. Yeah,
Yeah. If
brain,
you got
brain
some
games
studies.
and stuff like that. I guess I heard of brain games and stuff like that. Yeah, but not. I wouldn't associate it with video games, but I guess there are a lot out there that can keep you sharp.
Yeah.
Arrow says the only credit I give a president is the fact that they are going in the history books. Yeah, credit. As what though? What are you going in the history books as?
On what side of history are you going in the books
Yeah.
on?
Woo, man. Yeah, big time. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate everybody coming in. Yeah, let us know how you feeling. What's the pulse? How are you
What's
feeling
going
right now
on?
during this season? What's going on for sure? Yeah, love to know that. Don't forget the event coming up with Justin Pearson. He's gonna
Man,
be in on deck. Yeah, man. If you haven't seen some videos of him speaking out in the legislature where he's at, it's powerful.
dynamic.
Super dynamic. I really can't wait to meet this brother here. So shout out. That's October 26th at 11 o'clock, 11 to 2, Celebrity Morning Vibes meet and greet. Tennessee Representative Justin J. Pearson, one of the Tennessee Three, is coming in. He said must be high school juniors, seniors, college freshmen, sophomores. So
I was looking at that.
yes.
For the
This is
youngsters.
not open to the public, it's for the youngsters, right? Shout out to NAACP putting this together. Email freedomfund4091 @gmail to reserve your space. Students under 18 years of age must have a parent permission. So this is for the babies. This is for the kids.
All for it. All for it.
Definitely all for it. You want to meet him and you want to get out and help canvas as well, then most definitely get with the canvassing thing that's happening here at Fontanelle Park on Saturday from 2 to 4. Joint canvas with Ashley Spivey and Senator Terrell McKinney, man, and Representative Justin J. Pearson. That's what's up. That's really what's happening. There's a registration for this. You definitely got to hit them up and let them know that you want to volunteer to do some door knocking with them. There's the link to that. So definitely check that out, and we'll see what's happening, man. We'll see what's happening when we get out there, man. Shout out to everybody doing the work.
Time for some action.
Time for some action. That's what it
Big
is.
time.
808 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, buddy, what's some things we're going to talk about here in this next hour?
Yeah, man. Again, we are still anticipating our guest, Sister Kimara Snipes, coming through. So looking forward to that. But yeah, there are a few things still to dive into this meeting. Actually, speaking of time for some action, this is a time to stand up and speak out and have your voices heard, and get to have a say on how Omaha is made. The We Make Omaha Community Vision workshops are coming up in the next few weeks. There are about 4 different opportunities to again have your voices heard about the future of Omaha. Again, this is about planning the next 20 years of what the city of Omaha will look like. And again, too often, certain communities, being Black communities, Latino communities, we feel left out of those conversations. I always feel like a development and things are happening around us, but not with us. So again, there's an opportunity to chime up on that coming up. I believe the next one is tomorrow. Actually, the Tri-Faith Initiative. That's 13136 Faith Plaza. Again, Tri-Faith Initiative. There will also be several other opportunities on the 29th, November 7th, and November 13th. So yeah, we'll be dropping those dates and friends up. Look out for that. Also, the fight continues with the tenants unions fight, not just again fighting the towers of OHA and public housing, but also private landlords and development companies being fought, being called out as well. So, and dive into that a little later on. And then also judges, something that we've been talking about, trying to stay on top of in this election season, not just some of the other races in the legislative and executive branches, but what about the judicial? What about the judges? How much do you know of the judges? There are actually about 33 judges up for retention this election cycle. So there's a lot of judges that you can learn about and vote on. So yeah, there we have it for the remainder of this episode.
There you go. And on that tip, there's some information there. I saw some friends of First Sky Omaha discussing this about what Governor Pilling it can still appoint and not appoint. If you vote judges out, he can choose other ones. There's some more information there that we need to dig into about what happens there on top of like doing the research on the judges. Shout out to Sherman Wells and Maya who put some information out there on a few of them that they've had some personal dealings with. That's kind of the best way to find out how a judge rules on certain things. If you kind of know personally the situation, do a little research. But also there's a lot of voter guides out there. Flatwater Free Press has one, a voter guide you can check out. It's got some information on different individuals and stuff like that too. But I would say due diligence, do the work. To me, some of that stuff is more important than even the federal races is like what's happening locally. That judge that you might be standing in front of for whatever reason might be somebody who is notorious for voting against people of color on a regular basis. At least they're making it seem that way. They would never say they were doing that, but it may seem that way, so they just have a lot of power. Definitely got to do the research on that for sure. So yeah, Ariel's 402 says, is there a judge watchdog page?
I don't know. It's a great question.
Might be a great. Pops is coming in second hour.
Hey.
Good morning, First Sky fam. Mad love from Las Vegas. I'm a little sick and a lot tardy, but I'm here. Appreciate you, Pops.
Yeah. Hey.
Just in time for our next special guest coming on in. We got Miss Kimara Snipes hanging out in the wings. We'll bring her in just a second. Appreciate everybody that is stuck around to be able to talk to her. But yeah, let us know what you're thinking about this. Man, my biggest thing right now is just taking the pulse, really kind of talking to everybody. Everybody I talk to is really on edge, super anxious.
Yeah.
And don't even know why, this election and stuff like that is kind of weighing on your shoulders. And even when you don't think about it for a second, it's still kind of there.
Again, we talked about it on Monday. You can't really get away from it. Like it's permeating everywhere. It's, everywhere. Video games, sports, movies. Man, yeah, it's everywhere. Actually,
go ahead.
I was gonna say actually there's a pretty interesting rally I'm gonna try to make here in Atlanta coming up on Friday. The likes of like Killer Mike, man, yeah, it's gonna be some heads out there. Jadakiss is gonna be out there, like a hip hop get out the vote type event, and I'm curious to see what the likes of those individuals have to say about how is the culture, how is hip hop characterizing this election. Very interesting.
Democrats really stepping it up on all those fronts, man. They're really kind of really going down. Eminem open for introduced Barack Obama out in Detroit just yesterday as well. And you got to see the clip of Obama doing an Eminem rhyme at the beginning.
Oh man,
yeah, he's always good. But essentially, it took me back to like the DNC meeting, like all the artists that were out there as well. So they're pulling all the. Pulling all these artists out, man, because you say you're in this moment. You're in this moment of if you're voting for Miss Harris, Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, if you're voting for her, then it's a historic moment. It's a historic moment if Trump wins again. It's a historic moment. We say that
across
every election season, but across the board, it seems like a lot's at stake, and a lot of people are really kind of ready for this to be over with already. One word.
And although we say it, I mean, it is true. Like you look at, the last election with Biden and Trump, like Obama before that, like it's kind of has all been historic when you think about it. So,
and in the next 4 years, we're gonna have another historic election when we have Kimara Snipes running for president.
Hey.
Live from the headquarters.
You can't catch me off guard like that. I'm gonna spit that water everywhere.
Cameron, don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
Hey man, hey, if you was running for president right now, my choice would be clear. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you will get my vote. You got my vote for mayor. So
Oh,
there you
man.
go. There you go. Sister Cameron,
Good
how you
morning.
doing? How
good
you
morning. How are
doing?
you?
How y'all doing?
Doing good.
I'm
I
all
see
right.
you got your breast cancer pink on today.
Yeah, represent.
That or my club color pink or
Okay.
whatever it may.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny because y'all were talking about that. I was actually sitting here doing breathing exercises because my anxiety has been like off the chain for probably the last, I don't know, maybe a couple of months, to be honest with you.
Really?
And so, yeah, and I've been teaching, yes, I teach Sunday school, and
Okay.
Mm.
been talking about mental health, and we were talking about coping techniques Sunday, and I was like, yeah, I gotta remember to do my breathing. So I was just sitting here just now doing that, and then y'all hit me with the okey doke and surprised me. So,
Well, yeah, get your breath work in. It's all good. It's all
yeah.
good.
How y'all
Good
doing?
advice.
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Just
My
trying to keep the main thing the main thing.
my sleep pattern is off, and I think it has to do with that kind of like the stress level I'm not thinking about consciously. That's just kind of sitting there on my shoulders all the time. And
Mm.
it's not that I'm not getting enough sleep. It's that I'm falling asleep at weird times and waking up at weird times, and it's just my rhythm is off. But other than that, I guess okay. Like I said earlier, I'm more worried about the price of groceries right now, personally. So you know what I'm saying?
Man, but
Yeah.
there are decisions that impact those things, man. So it is very interesting. Just where we are. As far as you, Sister Kimra, like the anxiety, what would you say is kind of at the root of it?
It's to be honest with you, it's a lot of things.
Mm,
Um, One is balancing wearing the hat of an executive director, right? That
Hmm.
also gets funding while also being an advocate, right? An advocate that also has a big mouth and likes to express how I feel. Um,
Mm.
there are things that are happening in Omaha, especially in South Omaha right now, that I haven't been happy with, that my people in South Omaha haven't been happy with. And it's not even regarding the election, there's
Mm.
that of it as well. And so I've been balancing that, but I have a super supportive board who listens to me because I let them know, when I have these battles. This school board race has been probably a little more hectic than I might have anticipated, which I don't know why.
mm,
I mean,
Mm.
it's politics, you know what I'm saying? I should
right.
expect these types of things.
Right.
But I didn't, or maybe I did and just didn't really think about it. But I told the Empowerment Network, and I tell other people, we can talk about candidates all day long, but when y'all talk about Black candidates, we're usually talking about North Omaha. We
Right.
got Black candidates running in other parts of this state, including
Hmm.
in other parts of this city. And I elevated that because, these other Black candidates need support as well. And I do have to take this moment to say thank you to Precious because I did get a check in the mail. Not even the mail, I wouldn't have picked it up. I didn't have to fill out an application for it. And as somebody who's trying to raise money, I've raised almost $9,500 for my school board race.
Okay.
Um, I'm working on my mailer right now, my last little mailer that's going to go out. Um, Trying to hire a couple of canvassers just to help me these last couple of weeks. And I want to save some of that money as well in the future to be able to do some town halls and different things like that to host events where people can come and get information outside of like a neighborhood alliance meeting where I'll plan to be at as well. And even that too, I've had some anxiety with just straight up being honest, being on the leadership team for the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance.
Mm,
Um, I have considered not even being on it anymore.
Mm.
I haven't felt supported as a Black woman. There have been things that happen. I've asked them to send a letter to Don Klein. Nothing. This whole situation, what's happening with me, is clearly an example of like DEI issues, which is something that we elevated in our strategic plan. It hasn't been addressed, and I'm elevating it. But I guess I've been feeling a little bit like, damn, am I even like wanted in South Omaha sometimes, to be honest with you? But, whether I'm wanted or not, I ain't going nowhere because this is where I'm from. I represent all people and I will always do that, but I'm a human being. So it is what it is. And then there's the elections coming up. So It's a whole lot out here.
Yeah.
Clock is ticking. Clock is ticking. Kind of on that note, we wanted to bring you on today to actually focus and talk. We talk a lot about what one Omaha and your hat there, but wanted to talk about your race. To represent South Omaha and represent the school board district that you're in. And we haven't really talked about it now. And I'm remembering the letter that you received and just some of the pushback and some of the things that you've experienced in this race. And also, like last episode on Monday, we were talking about the breaking down the ballot initiative event that happened at AOS. I think you mentioned that you weren't invited or you weren't included in that. And I am kind of curious, like, just how is the race going for you in general? How?
I think it's going well, to be honest with
Okay.
you. And that's because, I've always been someone who's shown up. I've always been someone who's worked. I haven't been to the last couple of school board meetings, but that's because I've either been traveling or like last night, shouts out to Johnny No Good. There's a sort of like school, I believe Angel Starks are working together on. And so I went and presented last night about just like the role of like city government and how it's intersecting with One Omaha. But always shown up. I don't really pay attention to like what my opponent is doing. I'm just more so focused on what I'm doing. I do pay attention to like NADC reports and things like that. And so all I can do is do what I'm doing. I've had a lot of people reach out to me in support. I've been endorsed by the Omaha Education Association. I was endorsed by the Nebraska State Education Association. They've also supported me financially. I think that work really does speak for itself, and all I can do is continue to do what I'm doing and wait and see what happens on election day. Win or lose, I'm still going to be showing up. I'm still going to be paying attention. I'm still going to be asking questions like I do now. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's going fine. I could always use more support. If anybody want to go knock doors with me this weekend, you are more than welcome to come and do that.
My next question.
Yeah, gonna get this last bit of literature out as well, and I'm excited about that. More so, I'm just really excited just to. I actually got a call yesterday from Nancy Kratky on the board. If you know who that is the woman. She's like probably almost 90 years old. Very to the right, we will say. She still loved me though, and she called me yesterday, telling me that she wants me to come back to the board. I'm like, wow, okay. And ready for me to come back and give my insight and input. And I was like, wow, okay. It was just, I wasn't expecting that at all. I think she was really calling me regarding the meeting that happened Monday night that I missed out on. I tried to go and watch it this morning while y'all were with Jaquela about the school suspensions and all of that. I think she's calling me for that, trying to get something set up ahead of time. But I've been paying attention to school board, and I want to come back with this increased level of just knowledge that I have, because I'm telling you, when I go to those board meetings now, understanding budgets and accounting and things the way I do, I have so many questions, more than I even had before. So just very excited now, and I'm looking forward to going back, because it's just a increased level of confidence that I didn't have before. Nice. And it's like, oof, if they were sick of me before, boy, I don't know what they gonna do now, because
Right.
Get ready.
Kimara for Congress, like Archie said. Sounds good. Like I said, like Buddy was saying, we wanted to make sure that we gave you some time to talk about your race. So you said you need some volunteers to go out there and help you do some door knocking. You still raising funds as well, so you're still in the game on that. Let me ask you a question about the school board in general. This is something that's been floating around with us for a while. We got the notion that a lot of decisions are being made on the administrative level, even more so than the school board level. And since I'm not part of either one, I kind of have a question sometimes in my mind about what power does the school board actually have to make some of the changes that we often talk about needing to be made, like teachers being paid more or kids being treated fairly, or things that are happening inside and outside of the faculty.
I mean, on paper, your power is really in choosing good leadership for that administration, right? So their power was, in my opinion, electing a really good, not electing, hiring a very good superintendent who then is the person responsible for everything else within that administration. The school board, again, their role, and I had to learn this when I got there because I went in there too, like, yeah, I'm about to go in there and do this and do this and do this, you know? And then you get there and it's like, oh, okay, so policy, right? Looking at that and approving it. The budget, right? Looking at that and approving that. And then the superintendent. They evaluate the superintendent, they hire the superintendent. Now, when we start talking about chess and not checkers and being intentional and strategic, there's also the relationship building piece of it, right? You build a relationship with your other board members, you build a relationship with the administration, you gotta be kind of nice to them, you know what I'm saying? Because you want people to make decisions based off of your input. This is, again, my personal opinion, right? You build relationships, which to me builds influence. It makes people want to listen to you and take your input. What I have heard from the administration right now, not the administration, from teachers actually, is that they are finally feeling like they are a part of decision making. And so for me, that goes back to clearly the superintendent who was in place, who was making them feel like that. So essentially for me, that means it's a good hire, right? Because I've been in these meetings, and I'm telling you, I was almost in tears when I just listened to these teachers talk about how they finally felt a certain type of way, which was a positive way as well. So that's my opinion. I'm trying not to read the chat, and I'm sticking to it. I'm trying.
We appreciate that. We appreciate that. You know, I want to take the time to, I guess, give a shout out to Matt Ray, who is the new superintendent of OPS, and it seems to be making some of those changes, and even in light of what we're talking about the suspension numbers.
I'm not surprised by that. When I was on the board before, I built a relationship with Matt Ray because Matt Ray eventually became the person. See, I had to learn real quick that I am not the one to solve all the problems, right? Especially during COVID. And so Matt Ray, for me, I learned quickly that people didn't necessarily want me to have the answer. They needed to be connected to the person who could give them the answer in a lot of situations. And Matt Ray ended up being the person that I often went to when somebody from the community came to me and I had no clue what they was talking about, or no clue where to send them, or no clue really what to do. And Matt Ray ended up being that person, and he was always responsive, and it was always timely. Right. And this was when he was just like the board secretary. So I'm paying attention to this. You know what I'm saying? So knowing how he operated, I'm a firm believer in the way you behave in a situation in one way is the way you behave in other situations as well. So if you're responsive over here, you're timely over here, you're going to be responsive and timely over here as well. If you lazy over here, you're going to be lazy over there. If you a liar over here, you're going to be a liar over there. You see what I'm saying? It's about behaviors for me. And that's how I vote as well, watching your behaviors.
There you go.
I want to jump in the chat real quick because there are a couple good questions, and also some praising. Ariel's 402 says, Kimara, the smartest woman in the room, Snipes. It's your middle name.
Getting some
and it's the truth. It's usually the truth. When you're there, we know we're going to understand something. Cheryl Weston is in the chat asking a question. What do you want to bring to the OPS board? Good morning, Miss Cheryl Weston, by the way. Appreciate you coming.
Top of the morning.
So again, my increased level of knowledge, right? One of the things we have to look at is the budget. So just understanding of that. Previous experience on the board. My biggest thing is I want accountability, right? I want community engagement and transparency. Right. And so it's just continuing to do the same things that I have been doing, Ms. Weston. I don't know if that's a specific enough answer for you, but that's what I'm bringing with me. Kimara Snipes.
There you go.
I was thinking about the work that you used to do at Charles at the Washington branch, like you were even speaking on earlier. And I hear a lot of people that it's kind of this idea that running for school board is like a first step to a larger political career. And that's kind of their reason for doing it. And with you, it seems the opposite. It's like you really actually care about these kids and you would really make some change for kids and teachers. And that's why you're doing it. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, the first time I ran for school board was really because Lacey Merica was in the seat. When my son was a freshman in high school, a week after he started was when I ended up in the hospital for a month. When I got out of the hospital, I was in a wheelchair. Okay. I couldn't really walk until almost Christmas. I went to a school, I went to a parent, teacher, a meeting, and found out that my son was failing some of his classes. And that was crazy to me because even though I wasn't able to talk, I had community, my neighborhood association, Grandma Harrison, and they were calling the school, they were communicating with school. So you tell me how my son ends up like this, right? And the teacher told me, well, I know your son needs help, but there's so many kids in my classroom, like there's kids who need more help than him. So I don't even have time to really get to him and this and that. That was one situation. I was living by Southside Terrace, okay, next door to Girls Inc. My son couldn't get to school. I had no car. Ended up having to work with the school principal, work with the counselor. The counselor ended up using one of the school buses to come and pick up my son and a few other kids who lived in the neighborhood. After all of that, almost 4 miles away. And so Lacey told me she wasn't running again. And she was like, I really think that you should do it, Kim. You constantly calling me complaining about the school and this and that and this and that. You know, she was like, so I think that you should do it. And so I did. When I ran for mayor, that wasn't looking for a higher position. That was because I was on the school board. I was getting all this information that was scaring the crap out of me. And starting COVID task forces, I was like, you know, this is the thing to do. And so when someone else started theirs and pulled the people from mine and didn't include me, I was offended. I felt like I was doing their job. And so that's why I ran. Now we've squashed that. We good now, you know what I'm saying? But I don't run just to seek for some higher position. If it was about money, I definitely wouldn't be doing this.
Yes.
I don't make none, as we talk about again. Just the lack of, I feel like, respect for education in this state. It ain't just about Kimara. MCC board, they don't get paid. State board, they don't get paid. And they do in other states. So it just really comes down to just lack of respect for education. But no, this ain't about seeking higher opportunity. I go where God leads me. And that's just the honest to God truth. And this is where God is leading me right now. So this is what I want to do. And I think the extra confidence will just make me an even better board member than I was before, based on input that I received from community.
That's what's up. Tony Johnson has another good question. How do you foresee working with board members who seem to not want to collaborate or work together on issues? Many of them come across as not interested in their own district concerns.
Yeah. That can be difficult. I think some of it.
Smack them with your notebook.
Well, you know, you made me think about when we were working on academies and pathways at OPS, and that was very contentious. You know what I'm saying?
Controversy around that.
Very controversial. And you know, the board. You know, there were several board members who just did not. But I'll never forget Nick Teeling coming to me and telling me, he was like, Kimara, you know. He said, you were the only one who could really explain to me why they were voting the way they were. So I think it comes down to, at least for now, Tony, and I may be wrong and I may be hopeful. I can't help it. I'm just a glass half full type of person. But for me, I think it comes from just that relationship building. Like even with Nancy Kratke, right? A lot of, when I was on the board, I'm just going to be honest, like people teased her. They laughed at her. I told her, I said, Nancy, even if I don't agree with you, if you got something that's on your mind, you need to say that. You know what I'm saying? You got elected. Huh? Because Nancy's interesting lady. You know what I'm saying? She's the type of person that comes to you and says, oh, you took your braids out. I like that. That other stuff wasn't classy. You know, she does stuff like that.
Okay, gotcha.
And if you don't have the right mindset, it's like, who the hell you think you talking to? You know, I try when I'm working with people, I try to accept people as they are, understanding that I don't know how they was raised. I don't know what their trauma is. I don't even know what their day was like today.
You better be. I don't care about none of that.
That's cool, but also you're not an elected member, right? So the question is why I don't run for office, right? How am I going to do this and work with people? Patience, you know what I'm saying? Understanding, you know, an ability to not be like my mama, you know what I'm saying? Because my mama didn't play that neither. And she might have found herself across the street waking up like, what just happened, right? But I'm not like that. And I understand the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is to legislate in the true sense of that word. Legislation means sitting down there with people who you may not agree with and trying to come to some sort of consensus together. So even
There
as
you
we talk
go.
about Kamala Harris and all these different people, they're not by themselves. They're not going to make a decision alone. These decisions are made as a group,
Yeah.
right? And no great work is done alone anyway. So it's going to take a lot. It's going to take prayer too, Tony, I imagine, but I believe in it. So
There you go.
Like
Teamwork making the
everything
dream
in God.
work.
yeah.
There
Right.
you go. There you go. Man, great answer. Great answer.
Mhm.
And on that note, I did want to kind of dive into, maybe some of the issues that you might have to, have these difficult conversations to address. And you mentioned one of them earlier as far as the suspension situation. We talked about that story.
Yeah.
This is something that has been going on for years. I think this was a conversation that was going on while you were on the board the first time. And brought up Leo Lewis, the whole history with brother Sharif losing his job behind this. What are your thoughts on where that is and solutions?
Well, like I said, I did miss the meeting last night, but I did go in and look at the report that they created, and I was watching some of the presentation this morning. It seems like, at least based on what I was looking at, like numbers have gone down since pre-pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like there was an increase in like maybe 21 to 22, but it looks like 2020, 23 to 24. It looks like all these numbers have gone down. I'm not saying that there isn't a problem, but just based on what I'm seeing in that report. I know Nancy called me yesterday and I was trying to figure out why. And so I feel like it was around this report because she was bringing up the MTSSB meetings. It sounds like maybe there's a sense of urgency around something that I just didn't see yet watching the meeting because I didn't get all the way through it.
Well,
But it seemed, go ahead.
just a little bit from the story. It's not necessarily, yes, just to your point, the suspension and expulsion numbers are going in the right direction. Those are going down. But the big kind of point of the story for us is the disparity in numbers as far as
Yeah,
demographic goes. And
absolutely. With
and still going in the wrong direction in that
right.
regard.
And it's in the wrong direction everywhere, whether it's OPS, whether it's arrest, whether it's people, there's disproportionate numbers everywhere. And so, like, as we talk about, we can't just talk about OPS, but yes, let's definitely talk about OPS.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the answer is,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about Jaquela when she was on and she was talking about, until we start, giving these kids what they really, really need, we're always going to have these issues. But again, these are all systemic issues. They're systemic, right? And so as we start talking about addressing systemic issues that didn't get created overnight, so definitely aren't going to be answered overnight, I go back to those precursors, right, to systemic change, which is very basic. And I know
Mm-hmm.
everybody's like, oh, here we go talking about neighborhoods again, but I can't stop talking about it, right? Because we have to make sure that we're aware and we know what's going on. We have
Yeah.
to make sure we know who our decision makers are so when we have a problem, we can go to them. We have to make sure that we're learning, that we're aware, and we have to make sure we're doing it with each other.
Yeah.
Period.
Um.
Sorry.
On no, you're good. You're good. You actually just kind of sparked a thought in a question. Um. On that note, do you feel like one, as if you are elected to school board, will you be able to keep you will be able to keep your position at One Omaha, correct?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
She don't
Do,
get paid over there. Gotta have a job.
right. Well, yeah, that part. So do you think that this kind of provides a unique opportunity, beyond what you expressed that the board members can do themselves just in that position? Do you feel like you have a unique opportunity with One Omaha to actually
Absolutely.
impact the family in the neighborhood?
So, absolutely. And actually, since even before I became a school board member the first time, I belonged to Highland South Indian Hill Neighborhood Association. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Indian Hill is a school. Highland Elementary is a school.
Hmm.
When you look at these neighborhood associations, a lot of them have the same name as the school in their neighborhood. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, there's always been a natural connection, right? when I talk about the assets in community, when I talk about asset-based community development, people, yes, are assets, right? People like me, people like y'all, we all have gifts, we all have skills, we all have talents. Associations are assets. Associations are groups of those people with those gifts, skills, and talents coming together. And these are spaces where those gifts, skills, and talents start to get recognized. Our schools are our institutions, okay? Those are also assets because they cultivate the assets that we as people have, right? We have our physical spaces and we have our relationships. At One Omaha, we want to see those assets working with each other. So definitely, one of the things that we're going to do after the strategic plan when we get done is have our neighborhood executive council. I've already talked to the school district about having somebody on there, right? How do we continue to build these relationships? If you talk to anybody, the best way typically to reach people is through schools and churches, period. So there has to be a connection. And imagine if the associations that exist within the schools, like PTOs, PTAs, or whatever group you want to create, start aligning with these alliances and using that space to also build their capacity, build their understanding, build their knowledge, right? Now we got people in elementary schools, right, who are probably in the same neighborhood. Now, three of y'all can come together and apply for One Omaha mini grant. By the way, the application closes October 31st. You can apply for up to $1,000. Three people in your neighborhood come together, apply for some funding to do something in a space, which is an asset, with people, which are assets, to do something positive for your community. So there's definitely a connection there. I may not have all the answers, but I love to ideate and I love to talk to people about what that connection can look like. But without a doubt, it presents a very unique opportunity. And I'm pretty sure Matt already knows I'm going to be talking through his whole head about neighborhoods and what One Omaha and what we can be doing, because I've already been down there to talk to him about it like last year. So before he even became the superintendent.
Wow.
Without a doubt. So there's definitely a connection. If you have thoughts or ideas, I am open to them.
That's a good thought. I'll definitely get my wheels spinning on that because that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, the fact that some of these neighborhood associations are named same as the schools in the area, and really when you get and I feel like when you get with people in the neighborhood, that's really kind of probably the most topic of conversation is kind of like the kids and the safety of the kids and what's going on in those neighborhoods. You're also in a neighborhood with people that are in the same district, so you all are paying taxes for that school that the kid is going to. Yeah, natural progression makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
A lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, what else can we do? You said we can help you canvas. We can usually still raising money. What else can we do to help you get the word out as far as the school? And this is in a specific district. What district is it again?
This is Sub-District 9, which is currently Tracy Cassidy's district. Currently Tracy Cassidy's district, which is the northern part of South Omaha.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was looking through my notes because I had something here for y'all about OHA, but
What's happening?
Well, I just saw something interesting. I went to the city council meeting yesterday. One Omaha is helping some of our local quasi-government and other nonprofit organizations with community engagement. And I was there, and while I was there, I started reading through the agenda, and I saw this people plan delivery agreement. And I was like, what in the world is a people plan delivery agreement? And it's something with OHA, and they're getting almost $8 million to do it as well. And it's strictly for Southside Terrace residents. And so they got some program goals and everything, but that's a lot of funding.
Man, to do what exactly?
To improve outcomes of households, and that would be around income and employment, health, early learning, and school-age education, to also create conditions necessary for public and private reinvestments in distressed neighborhoods, and to provide supportive services throughout like the timeline of like this redevelopment. I will also say, and this is for any of our contractors out there, Brenshaw Development is going to be responsible for that piece of it, and they issued an RFP to find someone to help them identify contractors I told Brentshore Development that I need for them to make sure that they are finding contractors from all parts of Omaha and not just South Omaha, because Omaha is very segregated. And I want to make sure that those opportunities are available to people who also look like me. Because when you go inside Southside Terrace, them folks look like me. Right. And so he is doing his best to make sure that I stay aware of that process, and I'll be sharing that information. I'm saying let's share the wealth, right? And that should be open to all peoples, especially considering the location and the people who do exist within Southside Terrace. So yeah, it's the People Plan Delivery Agreement, and it's developed and administered by OHA and approved by HUD.
Boy, please look into that.
They got there's an Encompass project. I'm not sure if anybody is familiar with that. ENCOMPASS. It is an acronym. I can't remember for what, but
that's through HUD as well.
No, this is actually through funding for like violence intervention and prevention, and there was over $2 million yesterday towards that on the city council. So I mean, we got to pay attention to this stuff. So that we can make sure that people are part of these processes. I've been working with Bobby Brumfield on the Minority Economic Development Council for the Chamber of Commerce, and the space and area we're looking at is supplier diversity as well. So a lot going on out here, and we got to pay attention. So come to, from the ground up too next week.
Oh, ground up. Yep. Tell us about that. That's the speaker series you got going on at Benson Theater.
From the Ground Up is going to be next week on the 29th. Cheryl Weston, who is in the audience, will be one of our guests. Leah, say it again. Yes. Cheryl Weston, Leah Kenama, and Shayna. And Shayna's last name, I cannot remember right now, but Leah and Shayna will be talking about food justice, and then also about the water that exists in our communities. Cheryl Weston will be talking about the organizing that she's been doing around OPPD. So if you recall, this year, our theme is environmental justice. And so that's what we're going to culminate it with. Our mini grant application is still open. That is open until October 31st. You can apply for up to $1,000. It opened up on the 1st, closes the 31st. You'll be notified November 22nd, and awardees have until August of next year to complete their projects. So a lot going on.
All right, nice.
Well, appreciate the visit. It's always good to catch back up with you. Yeah. I hope you. I know you'll come back. I hope that you keep on shooting us more information especially about your run, what's going on here in these last days. We mentioned earlier in the show that we're getting, of course, just like everybody else, we're getting hit left and right with people trying to get the word out here because we've got less than 2 weeks, right?
Clock is ticking.
My mailbox is like a.
Mine just sends me messages on my phone. It's like, I give up. I can't. Can't hold no more emails.
Overwhelming. It's overwhelming.
I feel guilty if I say stop.
Right.
That part.
Show up for the last talk here. Like I said, these are one of the anticipated events that happen over here at the Benson Theater. So definitely check it out. This will be the last in the series, October 29th, from 6 to 8. She always has food, good guests, good times.
Man, yeah.
And I'll be the moderator. So
that's what's up.
There you go. If people again want to help canvas, where do they go?
Call me 402-212-6627. Text me first, because if I don't know who you are, I'm one of them. Yes.
I don't blame you.
I am one of those people.
I got so many safeguards on my phone. I'm surprised anybody can get through on that.
Yeah.
You know what some of these safeguards are.
Oh my goodness. Because
our first real black mayor of Omaha coming to.
Because I don't always have time to call people back, but when I do, I don't. Who would you say a black mayor walked in?
About right.
Who'd you say walked in?
Well, we had a mayor who passed away, and Fred Conley was the president of the city council. So he essentially became our mayor during that interim. So he was our
Fred Conley
mayor.
is my family. Tell him I said hey.
Oh, okay, I will. That's
that's
my
what's
Yeah,
buddy.
happening.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All
His
right.
brother's my uncle. That's what's happening. Omaha.
Omaha.
All
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
that sound about right.
Kimber at the headquarters. Appreciate you coming on in. You have a good one.
Y'all,
Peace.
Peace and
see you
love.
later.
Peace. Hey.
The smartest woman in the room, always.
Yeah, Sister
Kimber
Kimara.
Love it. I
Getting
love it.
down.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back and finish out the show. Appreciate everybody
Yeah.
sticking around. Thanks for the good comments and questions for Kimber. We'll be right back, y'all. Stay tuned.
The ballot or the bullet explains itself. We have a fight that's common to all of us. We suffer political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging. The ballot or the bullet. The ballot or the bullet. The ballot or the bullet.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be buddy to God.
Hey.
Kind of trip on my. Let me try to say that again. Buddy to God. Buddy to God.
Okay.
My mouth is tired this morning. I know
Buddy
what's
to
going on.
God.
Buddy to God. Yep.
Brr.
Appreciate you, Kimber. She said, phew.
Woo.
Yeah. You better than me.
Hopefully that's a good one.
Yeah, hopefully. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody that's stuck around with us as well. Got about 10 minutes left in the show, 9 minutes left in the show now. So once again, appreciate everybody that's sticking around. Special guests. If you were anticipating Sister Jaquela Yarbrough, she couldn't make it on today. There was some technical issues that we had, so we'll have her on another time very soon. Don't forget that she's the write-in candidate for Douglas County
Yes.
Commissioner. Say again?
Agreeing. Yes. Write her in.
Yeah, write her in because we were anxious to talk to her a little bit about what the ramifications of previously incarcerated people being able to vote now. It was on it. She had to write in because they weren't counting those endorsements there at first. So now that the Nebraska Supreme Court is allowed that, first and foremost, there's only a couple more days to register if that's the situation that you're in. Register to vote in person if is Friday. Whoever you are, if you whether you're formerly incarcerated or not, there's only 2 more days to register to vote, and then of course vote day is coming up November 5th. So definitely look at this and see what's going on. Make sure your ID, you got your ID ready. Make sure you know where your polling place is. There's a few things that we definitely have to remember to do, but first and foremost, the time is ticking on this right here. So if you're in that situation and you held off on all of it because you didn't know what the ruling is going to be, the ruling now for formerly incarcerated people who have finished out their felonies convictions, but have a felony on the record, now can vote and don't have to wait that 2 years that you had to before. You can now vote. But first and foremost, you got to get registered. So if you're not, you got 2 more days to do it. Douglas County Election Commission is at 12220 West Center Road, Omaha, Nebraska, located in the northwest corner of 120th and Center Streets. You can always call over there for some directions too. I had to call the first time to get directions myself. It's kind of in a weird shopping center kind of thing.
Kind of.
402-444-8683. If you're over there, 120th and Center, you'll find it. It's just
kind of by Beverage down the street.
Yeah, there you go. I think about Saul's Jewelry and Lawn across the street.
I think there's a Nobby's over there or something.
Oh, I don't know about that. What's that?
A costume store.
Oh, okay. Nobby's? Never heard of that. All right. There you go. All right. So anyway, definitely check it out. and be a part of that. I saw that you put something in the chat, but you want me to put that in the chat? This link.
Yeah. Just before we get out of here, just a couple last things to remind the people of. Just dropped in the chat those meetings again, as I mentioned at the top of the hour. The We Make Omaha Community Vision workshops coming up. Some things to look out for. Again, 4 opportunities to have your voices heard, to give some input on the next 20 years of Omaha. What will it look like? Again, a lot of changes happening in Omaha. A lot of growth happening in Omaha. Again, we got the streetcar coming. Tiff Alley is booming. New library coming. Soccer stadium coming downtown. New airport coming. I mean, the city is taking a step forward, man. So again, what will the next 20 years of Omaha look like, and will we be a part of it?
Yeah, there's some dates. There's some dates here for this. A few times they want you to meet on this thing, right?
Yeah.
Let me see.
So the first meeting is tomorrow, actually, from 6 to 7:30 at the Tri Faith Initiative. That's 1313, or excuse me, 13136 Faith Plaza. Again, 13136 Faith Plaza.
Okay.
You'll also have an opportunity at the Bancroft Street Market, the Hitch, and the Culture House will also be hosting one of these workshops. So again, check out that link, and yeah, mark your schedule, mark your calendars.
Michelle Moreno said, "No, Nobby's is closed. Ain't no more
Okay,
Nobby's.
okay.
So you gotta get your costumes elsewhere."
Yeah. Hey, that's
Anybody
great.
doing anything for Halloween coming up?
Any Halloween haps? Is that going
I don't
on?
celebrate no demons around here, but y'all can let me know what you gonna go do, and keep your kids away from my door too. I got no candy for nobody, no tricks
No
or no
candy for the
treats.
babies. There you go. There you go.
I'll be in here with the
Yeah, I
lights
guess
off.
hiding. Oh man. Anyway, before we get out of here, I do got a couple more stories to dive into.
Yeah,
Just a
the
quick
lightning
lightning
round.
round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, letting the people know what's going on. Again, the fight for housing rights is still raging on. Again, shout out to Brother Hassani Lee and the Underwood Tenants Group. But also shout out to tenants fighting elsewhere. Talking about other tenants unions or forming to fight not just the public housing officials, but also some of the private landlords and property management companies. And one in particular is being called out, Elevate Properties. Apparently, they own several apartment buildings across the Midwest, specifically 14 apartment buildings in the Omaha area, and they have not been responsive to calls of neglect about several downtown properties.
Mm.
One in particular, Tegan Sprague, who's a tenant at this property, says that she is called several times about the neglect by her downtown apartments management company that keeps getting longer. She says, "We have had cockroaches lots of times. We have unsecured entry. Tenants are getting charged payments they shouldn't be." She said, "All these issues are met with little to no answer from Elevate Properties, who again is a management company." She goes on to say, "It's frustrating. I pay a lot of money to be in this unit, and I love being in this location. But again, is it safe?" Also, she says it was so frustrating that Spread called Omaha Tenants United. "We think in order to balance the scales, that tenants as a class have no organization that is able to combat the power of their much wealthier exploiters, that is the landlords." Emphasis on the word lords. Cope is an Omaha tenants organizer. He said he helped Fontenelle Hills tenants unionize, which is another Elevate property. So again, Elevate is quickly becoming one of the another problem ridden management companies. They did issue a statement to KETV saying Elevate provides residents with both an online resident portal and resident helpline to report maintenance items. Additionally, emergency maintenance requests can be made via the 24-hour emergency maintenance hotline. All messages are returned through designated channels with the resident in a timely manner, and all maintenance requests are generally addressed in the order received. But again, if you remember from our conversations from Brother Hassani Lee, aren't those maintenance requests supposed to be issued in written requests?
Have to be.
Yeah, so we learned that emails and phone calls aren't really up to par. So again, seems like more of the same for tenants. So again, shout out to Tenants United. Shout out to all the unions out there stepping up and fighting for their rights. Fight the towers.
Fight the tower. Speaking of which, just want to remind everybody that we are running a sale on some of these shirts here. Part of the proceeds does go to the Underwood Tenants Group. So we're still trying to raise a few bucks for them as well. Shout out to Ashley Spivey and her campaign for donating to that to the Underwood Tennis Group. Can't wait to catch up with Brother Hassani Lee and let him know that went down. But yeah, if you want to order some of these shirts here, especially our OG First Sky shirt, was kind of limited edition shirt that we got going on there, then definitely check that out. There's only a few of those, but the Public Housing Fight the Tower shirt is one I'm seeing go pretty frequently as well, where everybody's kind of understanding that this is the direct message to people who are trying to get better living conditions, especially in OHA. So yeah, definitely hit us up. Go to firstsky.omaha.com /store and jump in there and go ahead and make that order. Get busy with that. Appreciate that very much, and everybody who did, thank you.
Yeah, get on down. And then last but not least, shout out to the ACLU bringing some attention to what's going on in the judicial area. Again, we've learned and spoken to a lot of our senators and talked about some of the congressional races and things like that. But what about the judges? Again, 33 different judges are up for election or retention this year. And are you familiar with these judges? Do you know what they rule on, where their leanings are? Again, very, very powerful branch that we don't really talk about too much. So again, shout out to the ACLU of Nebraska. We just dropped that in that link in the chat. They have created a table for you to kind of go through and see how some of the judges are being voted on or responded to by the Bar Association, some of their colleagues, kind of some of their characteristic scores that kind of, tells you their leanings as far as judicial temperament and things like that. So again, if you want to at least get some introductions to some of these judges out there, this is a resource. So again, shout out to the ACLU of Nebraska. Trying to let the people know, have them as informed as possible when going to the ballot, which is what First Sky is all about.
There you go.
So yeah, that does it.
Right on. Appreciate it. Want to remind everybody what month we're in. We're also in Children's Health Month. And we're actually in the week of National Lead Poisoning Prevention Week.
Yeah,
so
man.
our friends over there at the planning department that's ahead of this lead campaign, that they're also helping us. They also are supporting us getting the word out. So shout out to them for doing that. But they're getting the word out for all the things that is going on here with their training that they got coming up. That I was looking for the link for and can't find right this moment, buddy. If you have it, let me know.
Man.
Okay, cool. So, so first of all, October is Children's Health Month. EPA will be recognizing the month by spreading awareness about the importance of protecting children, especially those who are most vulnerable from environmental threats where they live, learn, and play. So, shout out to One Omaha for being so timely with their environmental talks that they got going on in the theater right here in this month of Children's Health Month. And also, National Lead Poisoning Prevention Week is happening right now as well. You can get some more information there from the EPA, who's got some information there as well. Also, learn more about children's health and healthy school environments. We'll go ahead and put this flyer in the Friends of First Sky Omaha, so you can click on these links and figure out what's going on there. And there's also a training coming up. Like I said, I'm sorry that I don't have it handy right now, but there's a training that's happening that the Omaha Planning Department, the lead division, is putting on to teach you how to make sure that you keep your kids safe from any kind of lead poisoning. It's not just in the ground, but it's in old paint and all kinds of different places as well. So yeah, there's some of that coming up. We'll put that in Friends of First Sky Omaha again in order for you to look that up and be a part of it. We're very, very close to eliminating a lot of the big lead problems in North Omaha, even more so than other parts of the city. So big initiative is happening. A lot of money's going into making this happen, and it's happening. So we can finish that out with your help. So appreciate your time on that. And I appreciate you going past the agreed upon 9 o'clock hour as well. It's 9:03 right now if you believe in the concept of time. So we're going to go ahead and shut down the show. We appreciate everybody that stuck around for it, buddy. You got some words for the people?
Yeah, really quickly, here's the link for anybody who's interested in that training this weekend. This is 26 at the Barbara White's Community Center at UNO. So yeah, again, inviting all parents, child care providers, teachers, anybody interested in learning how to keep the baby safe from lead. There you go. The link is in the chat. So yeah, go ahead and sign up, register for that. But other than that, big shout out to Sister Kimara. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us. Also, shout out to Sister Jaquela Yarbrough. Unfortunately, we did not get to speak to her today. But reminding you, go ahead and check her out. Write her in Yarbrough for Douglas County Commission. I'm not sure which district she's running for, But yeah, check her out. Check her out. There are some links, some information on Friends of First Sky if you want to check that out as well. And yeah, also remember Sister Kimara is also running for school board. So if you're in her district, yeah, vote, vote, vote. Let's get busy, y'all. But other than that, man, thank you to all the chat chimers, ghost listeners, monitoring spirits, as always, for chiming in, speaking to us, letting your mind be free, letting your voice be heard, and just checking us out. And more importantly, the ghost listeners, man. Again, always being reminded and always finding new ghost listeners and how many people are just tuned in. You might not be tapped into the conversation on the show, but you're still tapped into what we're talking about, which is the most important part. Again, we want everybody out there to be informed and move forward on that information. So we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. Catch the same time, same place next Monday here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. Also look out on Friday for the weekly wrap. Again, getting a lot of good feedback for that. So we appreciate everybody who's already tapped in. And if you haven't already, make sure you sign up for the weekly wrap. Again, coming out every Friday, or a good recap of what we talk about here on the show. Some other things going on in the community. And also, some other things happening within First Sky Omaha. Some of the new things. Again, if you're a part of the weekly wrap, you got to tip off to the new website. So again, big shout out to everybody who's already checked that out as well. If you haven't already, you can visit us at firstsky.omaha.com. Again, that's firstsky.omaha.com. A lot of exciting things coming up from there, and that's the best way to stay on top of it. Also, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the YouTube page. There's a lot of good content coming that way at the top of next year as well. So yeah, man, we're grinding, we're working, and can't wait to show you what we're working on. But in the meantime, between time, y'all take care of yourselves. Paul B, take it away.
One thing we're not working on is a 3-hour show. So we're going to get out of here. Just last reminder, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'd like to do a little call to action and put out there. If anybody has any information on where to get free breast exams for the public, let us know. I've gotten requests for that, and I'm like, man, I'm going to get checked myself. Everybody should go get checked because men get breast cancer too. So everybody needs to go get down with this. And so, yeah, if you have any resources out there, if anybody from Charles Drew's listening, there's a process. If there's a free resource, people can go get tested. Please let us know. Put that in Friends of First Sky Omaha, where the conversation continues after when we're not live. And we really appreciate that. So that's a call to action there for you on that one. Also, if you miss any parts of this show, please go back and check out the show in its entirety on YouTube and on Facebook. And like and subscribe, do all those things. Check out all the chats when you do, because a lot of good information and good questions are in the chat. Good comments. We got a very good chat that has some great suggestions and does some research and ends up being like the co-hosts for us on that tip. So appreciate it very much. Pop says, great show. Looking forward to the weekly wrap on Friday and see you all again on Monday. Appreciate that. Ariel's 402 says, have a blessed day, everyone. Appreciate that very much. And again, I can't tell you how much we enjoy speaking with you guys on these subjects and try and getting clear on some ideas and some things that we think is important and some of the details about those things so we can be well informed. Helps us. And I'm sure that if it helps us, then it's helping a lot of other folks that are listening in and contributing as well, because that's what this thing is here for. It's not here to be a typical political bashing show and all that kind of rhetoric. It's really for us to be able to get together as a family and really understand what's happening, what the issues are, come to some conclusions, and back each other up when people are stepping up to take some action on some solutions. And we're going to keep doing that here with your help. And so the next time that we will be live for that, it will be Monday. So really take care of yourselves over the week. Breathe.
Man.
We got less than 2 weeks before this thing is over. We're going to find out what's happening. I'm sure everybody's going to have to decompress after the election.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. It might be hard for some people to decompress depending on how things go.
Very true. Very true. Right on. He said, this ain't I'm missing. Is Imus still doing the show?
I think so.
Threw his nappy head out. I thought he was out of here.
No, his nappy head's still on the airways, man.
Yeah, all right, we're gonna get out of there. Of course, they brought him back, just like how they do police officers.
Nah,
go on hiatus and go on another show. Keep on talking about nappy heads. You know how it is. It's all right. We here. We can talk about it too. You guys, we're gonna get out here before we get too far into all this. But you guys have a good week and weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red